Can't trust these boys. Very, very naughty, as they say, as we jump into the drafting phase of our very first best of 5 here at the play-ins. Let's see which one of these teams is going to get an early advantage once we figure out who's going to be on blue and who is going to be on red. Is everybody ready for this one? Let's jump right into the drafting phase.
I'm sorry, Gideon, but that is a very, very sick Benedetta AU.
Oh yeah, that's very
right?
cool.
That was
Very
so cool. Like, this wasn't here in the regular season. Now it's like we bring something new every single time in playoffs, right?
Hey, I just wish it wasn't part of my contract to always use an MPL skin whenever I get the opportunity. That's also another thing that would like not to be in my contract, but hey, we all manage. Now, KGE going to be on the blue side up against Todak on the red side. The draft has already started, and I think this is what we were expecting to see.
Definitely. Looking at KGE banning out Harif as well as Louis, this is like priority heroes because talking to the players, even though Harif has been nerfed, is still a beast in the gold lane. Sure, in the mid and later stages of the game, it's easier to burst down the Harif, but the laning phase is still so strong.
Like, even change the wrong ability number, personally.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It's like, you make it so that Harif is less tanky, but honestly, at that point, Harif kind of doesn't care. For Todak banning out the Novaria as well as the Benedetta, and before we even get to the first pick, 2 things to shout out. Carmilla getting banned out here by KGE is actually a very crucial thing. Means they want to clump up. And number 2, internationally, in most tournaments, whoever gets the first pick, which is the blue side, apparently has a higher win percentage, where in the Philippines, the LPU is getting the Fredrin first pick. So it's going to be interesting for Malaysia, who is the first pick. What is our priority?
Yeah, personally, I feel like when it comes to the hot fixes as well, Chips is one of those heroes that kind of got released. There are a lot of teams who hit on this with that particular hero, but with this recent change, it makes Chips so much more valuable in a sense where when you pull up a shortcut, boom, instantly you get like a free old Faramis out in this regard. So right now, obviously, KGE is going to be picking it here. Like, seeing this Carmilla ban is good for me because I know for a fact that Carmilla is a great way to deal with shortcut just because it has a delayed response with the ultimate. So if Chips comes into shortcut, drop and Carmilla out, anybody who passed through it will immediately get linked up, and you are going to get like a wombo combo, just completely wiping whoever who goes through the portal.
Personally, I just like to get the free quote-unquote heart guard when you walk out of the shortcut.
Oh yeah,
now,
right now,
so
right?
Yeah, dude, it's great. It means that I can walk out for free and not receive that much damage.
It's 1,000 shield, right?
It's almost the size of a heart guard.
It's
almost
crazy.
the size of the heart guard.
Crazy.
We get the Arlet. We also get the Fredrin. Fredrin has been high priority bans, but I'm surprised that they're straying away from the gold lane here. I would have expected maybe even a Moskov, which we've been seeing a lot. MAL, SPS, MPL, PH, Grand Finals as well.
I feel like at this point they're sizing each other up to see who's going to take what, because the S-tier picks right now is the Natan as well as the Moskov. So I kind of feel like they just want to see what do they want to prioritize. However, with Todak able to get one and ban out the other, I feel like they're in a advantage here.
Okay, let me bounce you the question. Now that we see Vexana on blue side from KGE, are we expecting Valentina in response just in case as a deterrent at the very least for KGE's upcoming picks?
I feel like you don't have to pick up the Valentina just yet because there's still a lot of heroes in the mid. One notable one is Faramis as well, where Faramis going up against Vexana is 50-50 a bit, but they picked up the Minotaur here, so they're opening up. They're not really worried about getting this S-tier marksman then.
I'm really surprised they actually opted to go for the Minotaur. Yes, it's a great way to actually deal with the shortcut if Chips comes in, but the problem with it is that you have to anticipate where this Chips is going to be coming from because you won't know exactly Chips is going to be coming from which angle until you check every single corner, which is very difficult to do as a Minotaur. But if you play an Ube strategy which I think Todak is going to be going for, that is doable. But again, back to your point here, you brought up the Faramis here, which is something that I'm very surprised that Todak didn't go for because of the fact that it's a great way to deal with the shortcut combo.
I mean, they can also just figure out a composition that works really well 3 and 2, right? Have 3 players that really strong synergistically together, the other 2 a little bit more independent. That way you can cover more of the map without having to put yourself in danger. That's my line of thought here, right? Because I'm seeing the Yuzong ban. I'm also seeing Lilia ban coming in from the side of KGE as well. So they are worried about being able to maintain control over mid. And finally, we do get to see a gold lane ban in that Natan after the Harith.
They have to ban Moskov.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're trying to force KGE to ban it out. No. It looks like they're banning out the Faramis, the one that we have been talking about, where Faramis is a good counter here. So now, again, still, Valentina is still up. One thing that I do have to say, because of the patch changes in regards to how the jungle works now, Baras usually wants to invade the jungle quite early.
Yep.
2 minutes, 4 minutes, that's prime time for Boxia to go in. I do want to see what's going to be the different maker here. Like, are they going to invade in the opposite direction of wherever this Fredrin is going to be? If that's the case, then this is going to be on Chips. Chips has to be the one to inform which side of the jungle is still available.
Okay. It's not just Chip. At least for KGE, they're throwing a wide net into the ocean, right, to find the vulnerabilities. So if Chip doesn't find the angle, at least their side lane pressure is able to create those opportunities suitable for Chip to set up this gank or invade from Boxia's side. Now, Todak, they have to answer a couple of questions. Number one, how badly do they want to control what side of the map? Whether it be gold or whether it would be EXP, most likely it's going to be in the gold lane direction. So now that you have Minotaur, you can't just have a babysit.
No, they
that
need
Moskov.
the mage. They need the mage right now. Like, this is going to be an Arlet XP for sure. But I feel like, based from Todak, when it comes to mage, I think going in for either the... Oh my god, this is so tough. Like, what's a good mage? Lunox isn't too bad. Farsa... I am not a big fan against Farsa against Boxia as well as Roger. Like, you are going to get dived here. But Yves is a pretty good one. You know, it kind of slows down the tempo for Boxia and Damos, which lacks mobility when they start the fight.
Well, I think more importantly so, at least they created a decent comp in that 3-in-2 format, right? Strongest together as 5, but if they play a 3-in-2 format, they have enough enablers, enough people to peel their opponents to make sure that their cores, Moskov and Yves, walk away for free at most. So I don't think it's a bad idea.
Honestly, looking at Toda, I feel like the strongest that they will be is the second turtle. Because at the second turtle, they can go 5 men there, where the Moskov with the Spear of Destruction can join the fight as well. And during that time, they should be having enough levels to secure a turtle. So I'm really looking at Toda to abuse the Spear of Destruction coming in from the Moskov on the second turtle. If they don't achieve that, then it's going to be on KGE then.
All right, walk me through this early. We heard about the mid game. What about late game if it ever gets there before we go into the Land of Dawn?
I would say late game is all Moskov. Moskov can carry you all the way to the late game. Much more reliable compared to the Roger.
Well, with that being said, it's time for us to jump in towards the Land of Dawn here once again. Welcome to the play-ins of MPL MY Season 13. It's KGE up against Todak. KGE on blue side, Todak on red.
That was hot, by the way. Looking at the opening.
Yeah, that was a very, very sick overlay.
Very
here.
clean.
But I like how this Chips is just invading rather early as well. I was very surprised that Todak is not defending this, but because of this play coming from Vader, it is going to kind of slow down the rotations overall. You can see none of the Todak members here, especially the mid lane roamers, just ignoring him generally. But Momo, bottom lane, taking a little bit too much damage against Smooth here. Not a great sign, but Vader now going to be a little bit of an awkward situation. It's taking a little bit too much damage. Does have the passive to kind of regenerate later on, but Todak doesn't have the tools to actually commit to this fight. Susujin being called in right now. Looks like do they want to go for this, but seems like they will disengage. KGE seems to be winning on all fronts right now.
I mean, I would say they have the advantage coming in from draft because their gold laner as well as the XP has the capability of actually owning the lane to make sure that their counterpart aren't able to rotate as fast. So I kind of feel like this is a good sign. And we definitely see the extra damage going on to the Chips. It matters because I feel like King Empire, they really want to go for that camp because it does made it so that Gary gets the level 4 a little bit later. But because of the changes in jungle, they have to retreat.
It's pretty significant here. I think that at least for the side of KGE, they have multiple at wait, hold on, engagement in enemy territory.
Okay, top side here. Frederick getting me dived on as well. They've paused the toys, but Son Momo also very low. Not going to be able to provide the backup here as King Empire may be able to collapse on this as well. They've lost the Frederick. Momo is going to be left all alone here. He doesn't have his spawn, and he's going to fall eventually. First blood in the hands of the Chip for King Empire.
Nicely done by King Empire. Well, looks like the damage reduction change definitely mattered for Gary there.
Yep, I mean, at this point, this is what King Empire has to do because this is what the Boxia wants to do. You want to go crazy early.
Oh no, Gary immediately caught out by the chain combo here. Rafflesia not able to retaliate against this. King Empire going to be grouping up, trying to invade on the roads of purple buff here. It's past 2 minutes, so no more reduction for Todak. But who's going to get it as well? And Susujin steals it away, so no purple buff for Gary.
Lovely work so far by KGE. I'm liking what they're doing. They're stealing away camps even though the hotfixes have been put into place. Better yet, they're using their side lane pressure as a means to keep Todak on their toes constantly. But for the most part of it, it just boils down to whether or not Vitra shows himself on the map.
I would say this also shows that Smooth has been using his time very, very well. We've seen after the Beneda keeps getting banned out, he's been practicing this stance. But this time, I've never seen him being this oppressive. I've never seen him dominating the lane this much, and it's against Momo of all people.
I mean, they've done it before, right? And I think that's what we need to see from KGE's side. We have been seeing that their side laners have been the key for this team to give them that identity, and the other three need to supplement that. But I think for King Empire in a meta like now, with how the draft has been, it's designed around them.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit difficult here. But again, right now, Todak, they are going to be forced to play behind here. I like how they're having roughly babysit Shizo as a priority defense. But again, putting in this situation, being reactive here is going to be hurting them here because King Empire is dictating full tempo and going to be setting up Smooth to try and gank down towards the bottom lane. But again, it is going to be a slow game for now.
I mean, like right now, it is in King Empire's interest to actually control Shizo because again, the second turtle is going to be a big power spike for Todak. So if they can make sure that that doesn't happen, then King Empire will have a better lead in this game.
Okay, Vader now going to be pulled back here. He's getting zoned out. Finally pops the shortcut to try and keep himself alive. So he is going to be A-okay because of that shortcut. Todak not able to collapse on this. Rafflesia not in position to try and re-engage this. Still has the ult, still has the flicker. But Turtle going to be the priority. Vader going to be waiting up on his health. He gets his passive, so he's going to be regenerated for now. But Todak, are they going to try and buy time here? What do they do now?
I think for KGE Empire, the fact that they lost their shortcut allows Todak to actually take their time with this. They want to get to the later stages of the game. Let's drag this turtle out for as long as possible.
Yeah, right now it does look like Todak has priority here, and Gary is going on to Smooth.
Okay, here comes, pops the out here. He's going to be dropping the interruption. Yeah, big one, big Minon's rage. Here comes the real invasion as well. It is going to hurt them, and Moscow going to be joining the fight as well. KGE, they were caught off guard. Susujin will fall. Shizo gets the kill. A big catch from Todak on King Empire.
Well, for the most part of it, I think we need to take a moment here. Because after seeing KGE do so well, at the very least, Todak, they're playing their comp around the turtle fights exactly how we expected it to.
Yeah, like I said, this draft is all about the second turtle. But before that, it looks like they're going for this lane. Looks like they want to get this turtle as fast as they can.
Well, Zyme Boy going to be the POI right now. They dropped the shortcut as well to go in for a counter play to get one. But Todak will be able to back out for now. It's not exactly the greatest, but still, they get something out of it.
I would say that was a massive misplay because the minions aren't positioned well enough for them to actually contest for that objective. So I feel like they showed their face a little bit too much. They should have, after the victory there, control the lanes again and then think about getting an objective. I kind of feel like that was premature.
Okay, walk me through this, right? Because right now, all eyes are on Vitor for this early to mid-game eventually with the power of that shortcut. Should he be using it defensively like this? Or are we expecting King Empire to maintain this sort of pacing against Todak?
I feel like they have the right idea, which is they're trying to slow down Gary as much as they can because we have to remember the changes for the Fredrin is that the more levels you have, the shorter cooldown that you have on your energy eruption. So if you're able to delay that, then Todak is no longer going to win this neutral objective. So using the shortcut onto the Fredrin is good. However, the timing doesn't seem to be well thought out because it doesn't seem like the rest of the team is ready to collapse onto the Fredrin. So the idea is there, the execution isn't.
All right, let me expand on that a little bit more because I feel a lot of it just comes down to like how much time you have walking away from that mid lane. And I think as of right now, Vixano's doing a good job clearing, but not necessarily leaving the lane as quick.
Well, bottom lane, middle lane here, Todak finally kind of doing a little bit of check here, trying to see if there are any kind of response here. They don't really have an idea where Chips is. Top side as well, Sasa gonna get harassed here a little bit here, but Todak, they're grouping up as 5. This is exactly what they need to do to prevent being picked up apart. But at this point, is it actually worth it here? They're prioritizing the top side, but bottom lane Smooth is already shoved up towards the tier 2 already.
Honestly, I have no idea whether it's worth it. I'm leaning towards not worth it because against strong leaders.
Oh no, Weeder going to be jumping from our back lines as well. Real Obliteration going to be zoning them off. Weeder now trying his best to stall to play here, but a turtle in the hands of Todak. And Gary with a big appraisal's wrath survives it all. King Empire, they have to back out. They will find Momo instead. Trade 1 for 1, but at the same time, Turtle in the hands of Todak.
I think... You know what? I'm doubling it down on this. I think KGE have the correct idea, and I think both you and me, LaFell, we both agreed on this. We weren't sure about that one because whether or not they were going to take that fight, completely separate story. This should be a nothing sandwich for now, but whoa, wait,
okay,
hold on.
Okay, I don't think they can fight this here. Todak will get a free tier 1 up top. Meanwhile, again, Todak playing this Ube strategy which is not hurting them a lot because Smooth is getting free farm all the way in the bottom lane throughout the past 2 to 3 minutes right now.
I think they're missing out on the main point of their composition, right? It doesn't matter whether they get Turtle or not. They need to get map pressure. So I'm surprised that, like, you know, they had Smooth on the side lane. They also have Vitter right next to him. I totally get that, but once you spot out 4 by the enemy Turtle side, you just send Vitter, right?
Yeah.
That tier 2 should not be there on the bottom side.
No, legit, I do agree. I kind of feel like King Empire, understanding that Todak, their strength is in the river, just play for the lanes, man.
Yo, what? Either just dive tier 2, he's gonna go commit on Momo, instantly takes him out, pays with the price, but again, under tier 2, Todak is splitting up the fight. They don't really want to commit together here, Gary. Committing onto Dato, they will find one, but it is gonna be a trade with Rafflesia as well. They will lose Gary from Sasa, and just like that, King Empire, they dissect Todak on all fronts here. Zyme left completely alone, not able to join the fight at all.
I mean, as we say it.
So, about the river there.
No, like I say, it's like, your strength is in the lanes, so go to the lanes. The moment they go to the lane, they won big.
I swear, somebody, their analysts are probably listening on the cast right now. It feels like every single move that we've mentioned, Todak or King Empire take it a step further, right? Just leaning into the strengths of their composition. This is what we like to see so far, but we haven't seen the major overlaps between the two, right? How are they going to struggle and find that position against each other? Because so far, it feels like the Spear of Destruction, whether it hits or whether it doesn't, really depends on its target rather than the position that it gets.
Right now, honestly, Shizo is not even a 3-item power spike. Shizo needs 4 because 3 main damage items and 1 defensive one. Whether it be the Wind of Nature or Immortality, kind of doesn't matter at this point. He just needs 1 extra defensive item, and this game will go over to Todak because King Empire have 3,000 gold lead, but Todak is still able to keep up with the pace because their strength is around the riverside. And King Empire, they made that one good play around the lane. If they keep playing the lanes, Todak won't be able to fight back. So King Empire, they need to understand this. As long as we attack the lanes, we have a massive advantage.
Yeah, and as of now, the Lord getting juggled in between Sutsujin as well as Gary. They can't really decide what they want to do. Peter has been showing himself so many times down bottom, and Todak, they're just not budging away from this Lord fight.
I mean, considering that it's 30k to 26k, King Empire, they have a lot of time to work this if they want to set up for a checkmate angle, right? Ideally, they get that Lord, get 1 inhibitor, create a 10k gold lead, and close this game out against Todak. That's the most ideal, but we've seen teams actually fumble the ball because of these Lord dances taking way too long.
Well, speaking of Lord Dance here, Peter going to be taking the short route from the top side. He's looking for a flank here. Zyme Senpoi seems to be showing himself a little bit here. Here comes the conceal play. He wants to go for Zyme Senpoi. He's thinking about it. 4 men together, all grouped up. Not worth challenging the Minotaur, but if they get the first jump on Rafflesia, that's a completely different story here. Lord in the hands of King Empire, and Todak says, you know what, not worth it.
You know, that was actually pretty good coming in from King Empire. The fact that they were able to sneak it under Todak's noses, that was impressive, especially Vitor using the conceal just to zone them away. It's like, I'm not going to engage, but you don't know that.
I like that. I like the posturing from King Empire, right? Because they know they can get a reaction out of Todak.
Oh, 2-man taunt coming in. Dato gets completely destroyed. Peter going for the flank. He's in a little bit of trouble here, but he's going to be able to get out, fortunately, here with the help of Sutsujin. But Sutsujin has to pay the price. They trade 1 for 2, and Todak is able to defend now.
Dedo is so mad. He thought the knockup was enough to cancel it. Gary's like, nah, this is still gonna kill you, brother.
Oh, that Appraiser's Wrath has some emotion behind it, man. That hit so hard.
That's a feels bad moment for King Empire because it felt like an endable moment for King Empire, but because of that small misplay, Todak is able to hold on for at least a good amount of 2 minutes.
Kind of made it look like Vexana was in like a secret relationship with Frederick.
Oh, yeah.
And Frederick was not happy with how it ended.
Where were you last night?
Where were you last night? All right. For the most part, KGE now playing on the opposite side of the map, right? Playing for the long lane. 96 more seconds until we next see the Lord spawn. The checkmate angle, they missed it, right? They missed that entire timing unless Todak fumble the ball really, really hard right now. But look at them, they're stuck as 5. They're not giving that opportunity.
The craziest stat I saw just now was that Gary is the highest damage dealt. I mean, like, to be fair, it's not like way above everyone else, but still, that shows how much the damage the Appraiser's Wrath still deals.
True damage, man.
Yeah, at the same time, it's hard, right? Like, if Gary is able to catch like 2 to 3 members here, you follow with a Minon Rage, King Empire just can't get out. So like you can see every single time King Empire takes his fight, they want to take this fight as chaotic and as split as possible, just because of the fact that they don't want to be chain CC'd by all the combos from Todak.
I mean, there still needs to be a front to back, right? I mean, I don't think that KGE is in a position to actually take these front to backs like we usually see. Even if they get the flank, who do they want in the back line, right? Because at the end of the day, Deto still needs somebody in front of him to actually soak up the damage.
Here's the thing. This Tamos pick is genius. And the reason being is that he's one of the heroes that can use a vengeance.
Yep.
And the vengeance can make Moskov kill himself, man. Like, in the team fight, if Smooth gets on top of Shizo, that's a big win for King Empire. After that, it really doesn't matter. Shizo can't attack. Especially if he has 3 items, 4 basic attacks, and he's done.
4 basic
That's how
attacks.
strong the vengeance is.
Does Shizo force himself to get a Haas Claw just to counter that?
I doubt
think he
it.
could.
I don't think it's necessary. The Demon Hunter short sword should keep you alive. Just don't hit the vengeance. I think it's
It's a waiting game.
It's a waiting game, right? It's about how can you get these free resources out of your opponent. And considering how King Empire plays, they are not throwing resources without a purpose.
Now, Peter, he's got the immortality. Kind of scouts out the rotations coming in here. He's calling in the cavalry, but he doesn't really know where the rest of the team are. Zaim Senpoi gonna be running all the way back towards the far lines here. He cannot afford to be caught without the real motivation here. Taunt comes in, trying to check onto Smooth, but Smooth getting his health dropped pretty low from the glowing one coming in from Shizo right now. Sorry, from Rafflesia.
Not Rafflesia.
Wait,
Zaim
from
Senpai.
Zaim Senpai. Oh my god, where did he go? But
They're all starting to blend
another check
together.
once again. Smooth.
I mean, at this point, they're trying to force out Smooth from using the Vengeance Man. Like, they understand that's a win con for King Empire. As long as Smooth is a non-factor, they could, even if they don't take this Lord, they can take the team fight.
And they don't have a real means of chunking him out, right? They need Zaim Senpoi to walk into position to get a Void Blast to even get some free damage onto him.
You can see Zaim Senpai is just so afraid. Wherever Reader shows himself, he's hiding on the other corner of the map, the furthest away. But finally, gonna be showing a little bit of aggression here as the Lord. Getting kited a little bit more. King Empire still deciding on how they want to take this point. Conceal play comes in, but no, Rafflesia, he jumped in, instantly got melted here. Momo with the final slash, instantly gets popped off. Sasa in the backlines, finds 2, gets the double kill, and Todak, they immediately got shut down. No Lord, no jungler, no anything.
That was a huge misplay, man. Like, I was surprised by how much damage Rafflesia took, and that forced Shizo and Momo into a very bad position because they're like, we gotta save this bad situation. I feel like they should not have forced that.
I mean,
boy.
to be fair, I think they got caught with their pants down. I think that Rafflesia wasn't expecting that much. Well, let's look at the items, right? Let's have a good idea of what they built. Deto was actually so strong.
No, here's the thing.
My
Sasa's
God.
full item.
Oh, that's also true.
Wow.
Sasa's full item.
That is a little bit unexpected
He's
here.
2,300 gold ahead of Shizo. Dude, no wonder Rafflesia was chunked that low. It's a full item Roger.
And he's using the Trinity build, so he has consistent damage rather than that like big burst that we're used to.
Yeah, in the human form, yeah.
I was expecting the burst potential coming from Sasa, but considering how tanky Todak is, it makes sense why he went for the Trinity build. But at the same time, I did not expect him to just dive the backlines and find 2. But for now, Tier 3 will fall. Todak has no choice but to full defense this. Can they get the full wombo combo? Shizo trying his best going for the fight here, but 3-man knockup from Dato will stop the combo. Minon's Rage comes in. Susujin holding for his dear life, but Dato will finally trade him off. Crystal being focused down. Todak will lose everything for absolutely no chance at all. What a start for King Empire.
Clean start, strong momentum, still playing to their strengths. Cool, calm, and collected. Nicely done by KGE.
We gotta say as well, Victor is doing work on that chip. He's really dictating the tempo going up against Todak. And I gotta say, going back to their own camp, Todak has a lot to talk about, man, because there were quite a few misplays that cost them the game.
Yeah, I think that one is definitely a communication issue, right? It just came down to the Filipinos communicating with each other, and unfortunately, the Malaysian counterparts just couldn't keep up with it, or they just didn't get the information fast enough. It's a struggle to see, but it's only game 1.
I don't know. I feel like it was definitely on Rafflesia as well as Shizo, because if your rumor gets caught, Like
Yeah.
that's 100% not gonna be able to help him out. Just let him die, man.
To be honest, I feel like Todak just wasn't expecting that this chips is just so annoyingly strong. Like the previous patch was already disgustingly strong because think about this, right? Vitor made an attempt under the tier 2s of Todak when there's no minions at all. And he somehow, yes, he died, but the rest of the teams was able to win this team fight despite being in one of the worst position. I would say in the fundamentals of MLBB, don't ever dive tier 2 without backup. Like they just did that and got away with it.
Well,
technically he did get back up. I mean, like everyone came.
everybody decided to come at the end of the day, right? Just to fight for that momentum, but it's really tough. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but first we have to go to our backstage, check out our MVP, give it up for Smooth this game. That early to mid game, impossible. Momo did not find any angles. I think he only found like, what, one good final slash throughout that game?
He just couldn't. Like, he was winning the first 2 lanes, right? Like, the first 2 engagements against Todak was literally like, Smooth was chunking him down so low to a point that what can Momo do to actually salvage the team fight? Because he was getting dive by Vader, he was getting dive from Smooth, and eventually it came to a point that Smooth set up the fight so well preemptively before the actual main fight that Todak just could not react to him at all.
Well, that's where I have a couple of issues with KGE. I don't think they're impossible to beat, and I do think that overall their gameplay is still a little sloppy, but I do think that at least for Smooth, he had the right ideas, right? The fact that he took in Pure Rage, I want to win lane, it's against an Arlet, we only touch each other for like, what, half a second, so I got to make it count.
I gotta say, Smooth getting this MVP is huge because the way that Todak plays, they're all on Momo's shoulders because he's the playmaker, right? He will do the big engage. I mean, like, think about it in this game. How many engages did Reflecia do? Right? If
Only one major one.
No,
the rest was just
that,
he couldn't do
that
anything.
wasn't even an engage, right? KGE started it.
Yep.
Gary got the kill. They were trying to chase after them. Then Reflecia used the minimum.
Minon Rage.
It's like he didn't engage. He just counter-engage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Their
fair
main
enough.
engager is Momo. If Momo is using something like the Terizla, this Arlet, as well as Yuzong, he will start things off for his team. If he's unable to start anything, the entire team does nothing.
That makes sense. That makes sense, especially considering that their team wants to kind of like group them up together and then put them into that, death box like we usually see in the past couple of seasons when Yve is in play. But so far, I think that at least for Todak's side, it's a communication issue, something that they can clean up over this best of 5 series. I think that unfortunately, right, I feel like KGE could have played the map like way more. They knew Todak wanted to play as 5, and they also struggled to realize that if Shizuo goes by himself, like you expect to see a Moskov to play for that Spear of Destruction 4-1, that's when KGE can, bite them again.
Yeah, but that's the thing about KGE, right? Like, I feel like macroly, this is the best KGE I've seen throughout the entire regular season with Vader because there was a lot of macro plays that we don't really see when Vader is on the Vader map. He's like intentionally showing himself on the lanes so that Todak will collapse on them. But even that, they're just not budging. And because of that, it allowed Sasa multiple opportunities to get free farm across the map where, like you said, quote unquote, when you have a Moskov, he should be farming on the other side of the lane. But because of that mental pressure that Vader is showing himself intentionally, Shizuo is just afraid to farm from away.
Well, let me just say this, right? I think that with Vitor in the lineup, the team seems a little bit more aware of the game state, right? That's what I feel with Vitor in the lineup in comparison to X-Wing.
Yeah.
I do think that the team is still rather disconnected at times. They are aware, but I think that disconnection is something that I didn't see with X-Wing in.
Something that I dislike looking at the damage numbers here, Shizuo only dealing 30,000 damage. I think is quite low here, especially Zyme Senpai is doing 56,000. It's like, okay, fine, he can attack from a far enough range that he can build up this damage per minute. Like Gary did 36,000, he did a lot. Even Smooth did 33,000. So I don't know, I kind of feel like Shizuo is not bringing out the maximum potential of this hero, where we've seen Moskov can dish out massive numbers, because you have to understand that if you hit the front line, you're also hitting the back line. So it really spikes up his damage numbers that we're just not seeing here. And you guys were talking about how Vitor just shows his face trying to bait Todak for an engage, but Todak never engaged. So this might be a very major flaw for Todak's lineup, that no one wants to start a fight. Like, maybe they're being a little bit too disciplined by like letting everyone take whatever they want.
I think this comes down to the fear factor, right? Like you brought up a very, very good point, which is Smooth having the vengeance. think about this. What does Shizu do? If he splits off, he's gonna get ganked by a beater. If he fights fun to fun, he's afraid of the vengeance from Smooth. So I guess from Todak's perspective, Shizu was put in a situation where he just doesn't know what to do.
Well, I think it's also conditional, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned before, you have to wait for the vengeance, like well, both
Yes.
Phil and Terrence have mentioned. Not to leave out Deto, who was
Annoying
up.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, like your spacing needs to be perfect, and you also need to proactively have your dash off of cooldown before you walk into these fights, right? As soon as you're dash, you're susceptible for the next 8 seconds of your life, maybe even 6 seconds depending on what level. But at the end of the day, walk up too far, Eternal Guardian is going to get slammed on your head, right? If you're below 50, Sasa can kill you even. And even then, right, you have to start thinking of your abilities as resources. I think that Shizu's resources far too independent and very selfish for as a necessity to survive.
I would say going to the second game here, Todak can't allow Momo to lose that lane that hard.
Yeah.
Either in the drafting phase or their rotations, they gotta let Momo win, man. If Momo wins, there's more opportunities for them to do whatever they want.
Is there any consideration of splitting up support as well as jungle rather than moving as a trio squad, but 3-2 in the opposite directions?
I feel like that's definitely possible with certain heroes, right? Like something like a Yuzong that can win his lane. He just needs a few good traits here and there, and then he can start dominating by his own. Then yeah, just split them off. Just make sure that they don't lose enough, and then you're good.
I think personally, when it comes to the drafting phase as well, when it comes to priority in particular here, King Empire definitely drafted this draft in a way where it took everything into consideration, right? Like, you talked about, hey, Vexana needs somebody in front. Guess what? Drop an Eternal Guardian. That's somebody in front for you. And Todak just can't really take all these engages because of the fact that they can't, I would say, out-sustain the amount of peel and damage that King Empire brings to the table right now. And again, I feel like Todak just can't handle this chips combo right now.
It's either they can't handle the chip combo, something I do think that they're probably going to ban when they take over, well, from Todak at the very least, take over on blue side, leave it up to KGE to decide it, right? A lot of these priority picks in the draft itself were coming out of blue side from KGE.
Agreed.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a more standard draft of what we're used to in the upcoming game number 2. Adjustments that need to be made probably comes down to the draft, and I do think that Revelation, they got to disconnect the support and as well as EXP, play more independent roles. If not, they just got to work on talking to each other.
I don't know, man. Like, they have to figure it out, because if not, KG is going to have this in the bag, man. Because throughout the game, I would say the amount of control time, KG had 80% of the map all the time.
Yeah.
80% of that map. When we look at our Hall of Famers here, Rich Guy, the carry, Sandbag, and as well as our best wingman, we have Sasa, Zyme Senpoi, Sutsujin, and Vitter as your best wingman. So far, I think, the stats check out.
Yeah, Zyme Senpoi tried his best to deal out the damage, but again, it's just poking damage. It's not straight up, I'm going to attack this one guy. He doesn't have that space. Todak didn't have that space at all in this game. It felt like they didn't have a tank.
Well, at this point, he might as well play Farsa, right? At least you have longer range. At least your pokes are going to be a little bit more, the damage sticks a little bit better overall. I felt like Sutsujin generally played a standard game. Vitter definitely showed a lot more presence this time in comparison.
They're more confident with Vitter in the lineup.
Well, for sure. That's why I think with Vitter in the lineup, they're more game state aware. That's why they're very like, oh, yeah. You've given us all the information we need, the step-by-step before we actually execute the plan.
Because based on this, I'm seeing from KGE is that with Vitter, they're very macroly aware. Whereas from X-Win, he's looking for micro plays to kind of distract the opponent's vision or their map awareness to a certain degree, and it's not really working out in terms of playstyle. But KGE with Vitter right now, and I want to see how they are going to be playing when the Chips is not in pool, because Chips, I feel like the way he played it was very, very good, because normally as a Chips, you see somebody, you have the highest tendency to I'm just going to go in, blah, 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 drop something. But he intentionally not going in a lot of times forced Todak in a situation where, what do I do? He's here. If he commits, I'm dead. But if I split off, he might come from behind. So it's a bit annoying to deal with this kind of composition, if you ask me from Todak's perspective.
Well, on a micro sense, yes, it is pretty annoying, right? Especially when you're playing on two opposite sides of the map. But once we look at these highlights, I think, this is the one good engage that we've actually seen from Todak.
Yeah.
Very well set up. This was the layering of CC that we were expecting to see from mid to late game onwards.
And it does seem that with an advantage, even Todak is unsure how to use that advantage, which is very unfortunate. Having win that turtle fight winning the team fight as well as securing the objective, they immediately lost that by losing Zyme Senpoi a few minutes after that. Like maybe even a few seconds after that. So I kind of feel like Todak in this game looked disconnected. I feel like that's the best way to really talk about this. Not only the way that they engage, but also it's like, okay, we won one thing. How do we transition to the next? It felt like even they were surprised that, oh, we won this one. Now what?
Yeah. Definitely think that this game should have been longer if it wasn't for Todak making that final mistake at the very end. But, you know, can't be too harsh on this. We are critical for the time being to see what we could learn here at the MPL MY, but at the very least, it's a best of 5, so there's more data to be collected. For the second game, at the very least, we've talked a lot about Todak. Let's talk about KGE. What do we expect to see from them, especially since now, well, I'm only assuming that teams want to lean into blue side, so therefore that means KGE would be on red.
I think when it comes to this as well, again, here's my thing, right? I want to see KGE play this comp without the chips. Will Todak be able to react? Because I'm pretty sure that there's just too much Todak could have handled that situation. And King Empire, yes, I like that they're playing a little bit better macro now, but in terms of clumped up vibes, they are a little bit more sloppy here. Because when it comes to priority, I feel like KGE is prioritizing on things that I just know I'm just going to win. Because they had a draft that, for me, completely shuts down whatever Todak wants to do. And at the same time, I did see Chiku kind of walk by after the match and he was looking pretty pissed as well. So I feel like we might see a potential sub in this upcoming few games.
Well, I wouldn't be too surprised if he's a little annoyed after seeing that game, right? We're expecting Todak to be at the very least in a more polished shape, especially for this playoffs. Playoffs Todak, right, is what they were known for when they get that strength. But let's look at the power distribution between Shizo and as well as Sasa. Now, we didn't get to see much in that game, but at the very least, we can kind of tell that the laning phase was pretty even between the two.
One thing that I do have to say is that if my numbers are correct, Shizo has been performing the best on the Claude. His Claude has been very self-sustaining as well as doing quite a lot during the team fights. When it comes to Sasa, Sasa keeps trying to win the lane. It looks like, again, Shizo, like you said, it was more even. It doesn't look like Sasa was winning it outright. But the thing is, Sasa was more proactive in dealing the damage. It looked like Sasa was more confident of walking up and saying, I know you guys can collapse onto me, but I believe in my own abilities to get out of this bad situation. So he's just going to deal the damage himself. And in the moment everyone collapses, he gets out of there.
With that being the case, right, we've seen the gold lane meta kind of shift after, you know, watching MPL PH Grand Finals, their playoffs, SPS as well. We see that the Moskov is either a hit or miss for a lot of these teams. So either they scale down, saying less mechanics, higher scaling cap, like Natan for an example, or we lean back to the good old classics, carry. I was going to say Moskov again, but Claude in this case.
I was just going to say Moskov and Roger, same thing. It really depends on who's using it. Because it's one of those heroes that's difficult to use, but if you find someone that can use it well, he will dominate. Like, the kind of guy that can 1v9, someone like an Innocent, you know? Because even if we see other people using Roger, it's really not at the level of Innocent.
Agreed, I agree. And of course, when it comes to this composition as well here, you know, I like how King Empire was able to just dictate the entire fights on when they should be taking fights, whereas Todak unable to respond to that. And again, brings back to my question here, the whole point of having a strong Moskov is that you are able to push side lanes and you have this global presence to kind of go in on your own. So that's the whole point. You want to force a fight where it becomes a 5v4 rather than 5v5. But with the chips, you can't really do that. Because if I'm left alone on my own, and while the other team's on the other side of the map, a chips comes in, I'm dead regardless. So I think that's the reason why Todak isn't able to... I mean, Shizo in particular isn't able to do that. But again, now let's talk about the meta picks here. The meta bans. Baratz being the top pick here. What do you think?
Not that impressive
at all just now.
Not that. I mean, he was banned.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's impressive. I think right now, Baratz, especially since you want to invade so very often, is leading on the condition that you have some strong side laners to kind of walk with you, right? You can't do it by yourself anymore. And I think more so now after the hotfix. Worst yet, we haven't seen too much. Well, I think for a lot of EXP laners, if we don't get the Swiss Army knife of the EXP lane, Benedetta, maybe even Paquito or Yuzong, some like to lean into the Baratz. It's like losing matchup, don't care. I clear waves fast, and that's all I need to do.
Is that a Hellcurt or a Roger?
It's
I think it's a Roger.
both. It's both.
I think it's Helker because okay,
I don't see the difference.
I'm not gonna go there.
They're both prideful animals. They both pounce on you. You don't get to say too much if it's a
No,
good engage.
I'm seeing the smiles on Lafel. He's like, he wants to go there, but what are you thinking, Lafel?
No, silent but deadly. Right? It's silent but deadly.
Silent but deadly.
Deadly disease. I'm just telling you. With 33 more seconds left on the clock here, the only thing left to discuss is the mid lane. Personally, for me, I think Ditto has been doing quite a fine job here. It feels like Zyme Senpai, he's either all in or all out. You never see him like 50-50.
I would say that Neto did not have to do that much in that game. Like Smooth, deserving of the MVP, really shut down what Todak was trying to do. So it's kind of like they know he could do way more, but at the same time, he doesn't have to. He just does his job.
To be honest, if I felt like if Dato didn't die twice to Gary, he would have gotten MVP. Like he played really well this game.
There's a good chance that his stats will probably put him in that position, right? Now, we come back into the game and Todak have selected red side once again, putting
Ban the
KGE on first pick.
They have to ban the chips. Like respect that. Like you guys, it's very apparent they couldn't deal with it. No, what? They're going for respect bans again. They're shutting down both Dato and Smooth once more.
I think what? Can generally handle the chip. I think overall, considering the number of effective chip ults compared to how many times Smooth is just standing there
and doing
and doing more just by his presence and having the vengeance, I think that's good enough, right? I think at KG, they don't mind. They still have multiple lines of play from this drafting point in comparison to Todak.
For me, I feel like chips is a fine ban, but it's like really... It's really just for Zorn. If you're going up against Zorn, you have to ban the chip.
Okay. Todak menang Urza Cruz. Okay. Okay, bro.
All right,
okay.
chip ban.
Yeah, they have to respect this here. But now, but that being said here, Barats has been that true. So this time, they might be able to actually pick it up themselves, from KG.
No one cared about Angela before, huh?
Yeah.
No one cared about Angela.
I'm so glad people are straying away from Angela, especially for people who are like Detto and as well as Zyme Senpai.
Yeah.
They can play the game. Just give them a regular mage. Everyone keeps putting them on the Angela, and then they're like, their enabler is just doing doo-doo. Their jungler is like, no, I'm 3 levels behind, or even their Yuzong in the EXP lane is just struggling to breathe.
So right now, KG, they have a lot of options here because the Barats and Fredrin are open. You can take one or just let your opponent take one of the other. And it looks like they're going to first pick the Moskov. Perhaps Sasa is a bit pissed. He's like, how dare you use Moskov like that? Let me show you how it's done.
I think he just wants to try and diff Shizo in lane, right? Because again, this will now devolve to basically what? Are you willing to go back to your old faithfuls like the Claude or try to win out this lane early on this Roger?
Yeah, Faramis is also in the pool as well, but I don't think Todak is going to pick this Natan right here, right now. He can pick it later on before he goes to the second phase here. But again, like I said, Roger is still in the pool, but I don't think Roger suits the composition coming from Todak here. It feels like they need to prioritize on the Faramis as well as maybe the Barats here. Or in this case, you know what's really open? Matilda and Barats.
I mean, it's
completely ignored if you think about it.
I mean, it's a bold call to say Roger doesn't fit the comp, but nothing has been revealed. We don't know what comp they're actually going for until right now. Here we go. The lock-ins, Roger, as expected, Fredrin. Yeah.
Matilda ignored completely.
Ignored for now.
Wait.
I think KG will go Matilda Barats this game. Like, they could. Straight up.
Matilda, Barats. They really want to do that? Matilda, sure. Barats, either or. I don't think they want to go for both at this point, but instead, they don't touch either or. Daxian as well as Vexana, leading back to the same traditional comp.
Okay. Huh. Okay, kind of a little bit of adaptations here coming from King Empire. Instead of going for the chips this time, they went for the Moskov, right? So, it feels like... right now, KGE is trying to mirror back what they had from game number 1, but this time without the chips, I'm more curious on what kind of roamer KGE has.
I mean, you asked for it, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, right? Like, I know I asked for this, but again, if they can play like that again, technically KGE should be able to get a 3-0. But if they don't, well, we're in for a potential 5-game match.
Man, that sounds like a tier sub talk right there. We need a tier 3, man. Come on. We gotta be like, yes, they're going to invest in the Matilda. They're going to do it in right now. But Todak, instead, get the Arlet once again to make their EXP support a little bit more flexible. A good way to close out the very first phase of this draft as we move on into second. I see the beard scratcher, LaFell. What's going through your mind?
The only thing that I'm thinking about is for Todak, they got to aim for smooth now. They got to make sure that he doesn't win the lane. So they're betting on Thomas. I'm thinking what other thing can they ban as well? I'm thinking either
Paquito.
something like Paquito, Lapu Lapu, even the Terizla, because with their lineup right now that Todak has, not looking at their mid so far, it's going to be difficult for that lineup to deal with a Terizla. So I'm also looking at Terizla as a possible ban here.
Yeah. I get the idea. Especially since they still need an enabler for Moskov to land the arrow more effectively. I get the Terizla. What else? Strong CC. I mean, Yudong only because of the Petrify, but that's on cooldown. Yudong's also banned out. Good for well, that's fun. Todak, they could look to pick up an EXP early on, but would it matter to show it early?
I think Xbox isn't too bad this game if they decide to actually go for it, just to deal with both the bugs here as well as the potential annoying Eternal Guardian coming from KGE. Again, I feel like if they go for it, means that, you know, Smooth can do whatever he wants. Paquito is in his alley as well. Terizla is also in his alley. But for me, I feel like Todak has been emphasizing on Zion standpoint being able to play multiple heroes a little bit too much, rather than just picking up like strong core mages like Ramis or even you prioritizing it for him instead, where I think Todak just emphasizes on his flexibility a little bit too much this game.
On his flexibility, I feel like the mid meta in particular just revolves around, do you get something that's able to counter out a Vexana comp or no?
Yeah.
That's usually what it boils down to, and then afterwards is the supplements to how to round out the composition. Todak, this time they're going to be locking in the Vexana. Just sure, hey, you know?
In my head, I was thinking they should get the Valentina here. If not, they're trolling, because the Valentina is pretty good here going up against the Moskov Bhakti as well as the Vexana, because Moskov is a mid-range hero. Going closer to short range, being in the carry range, Valentina can deal damage towards him, because usually when you see other gold leaders who want a longer range, something like a Farsa, but close range heroes, Valentina is good, especially when you can get the Eternal Guard. It can help you a lot.
Let's not forget that they also trade really effectively in the earlier stages of the game, right? The laning phase is going to be quite important. If Vexana loses 90% of her HP clearing 2 waves, is that technically fair for her? And I think that Todak at this point, now seeing the Edith make a couple of regrets, it means that being proactive in this game might hurt them. Terizla, as expected here. Do we see the export from the side of Todak?
They don't really have much choices here.
They can still go for like Paquito if they really wanted to.
Are they gonna put the roam roughly on the Arlott roam here? Because it feels like they're trying to set up in this way, but I feel like this Arlott is actually going to be played by Momo, and Todak might consider picking up like a Florin or Angela for Rafflesia, knowing his hero pool.
I don't know. I feel like Arlott in the support range, especially when you're up against an Edith, not exactly bad.
Great. Is it?
I don't think it really comes down to, can you Vengeance the CC?
Okay.
Like if she wants you got a Vengeance. It's all about that one interaction, being able to deny the CC with your Vengeance. That's all you need to do.
Well,
okay. All right.
Matilda instead.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like they still need to have the same idea. Let Momo win his lane. Now that you have a Matilda, you can get to his lane much faster. If Momo has a rough time again, I think he's going over to KGE.
Added a little bit more flexibility to the composition. Try to account for any kind of outliers or adjustments coming from both of these sides. I respect it. With that being said, game 2 of our very first match here of playoffs, day number 1 of this best of 5 series. Currently, KGE 1-0 against Todak in this best of 5. Let's jump into the land of Dawn before we continue. Play-ins have been looking off really good. But at this point, we need to see something from Todak. We want to see them fight to win. We want to see them fight to survive. Bring it up to 1-1. Let's jump right into the game.
Well, it is going to be a do or die right now. Todak adapting to the meta. King Empire still relying on their composition. A little bit of adaptation here. Hopefully things will be a little bit different in game 2 for Todak.
Right now, my only worry is that can they deal enough damage onto Smooth? That's it. Because that Terizla is going to be very tanky, especially with the body of Smith. So, again, if they can take down the Terizla, it's going to be good. If not, this is going to be a war of attrition, and I'm not sure which one is going to win, King Empire or Todak. It should be Todak because they do have the heal, but remembering the mistake they did in the previous game, I have my doubts.
Well, we'll see. This will be their opportunity to prove that to you. I think for the most part, I'm curious to see how KGE is going to respond to Todak, right? Because it feels like Todak is the type of composition that wants to be a little bit more proactive on the map in comparison to KGE.
Yeah, and seeing how this is happening as well here, you can see, like, I think Lafayette brought it up as well. Like, on XP lane, as long Momo wins his lane, he's going to be fine. But right now, he's freezing the lane. But top side, no lane, Zyme. Purified already expended before the first turtle.
He did not want to die.
Yeah, I feel like he would have died there.
He was gonna run. He was gonna get run down if he didn't. He just used his shadow dash as well. Down my bot side though, nothing much seems to be happening between Shizone as well as Sasa, both being very uninteractive, but Revelation just being mega annoying, just making sure that he spots out Sutsujin wherever he goes.
I mean, like, the fact that Sutsujin is able to steal some camps over from Gary, I think this is a big deal, man. Like, in the early game, you will be able to feel the difference when this Baxia gets level 5 before you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about King Empire, right? Because of the rotations coming from Sutsujin here, he was able to steal a camp on top of it all. And once he gets his level 5, means that against Gary, he is most likely going to lose out in a retry battle in terms of overall damage output. But for now, King Empire, they're going to try to make a play up top, though. Do they get it? Seems like Sutsujin comes in. Oh, Todak dodges the bullet.
Oh,
I feel like they just wanted level 4 and they got it. Zyme Seppo is level 4 as well, thanks to his passive. So now, Todak going up against King Empire. Smooth hits level 4 now, so this becomes a little bit scarier for Todak.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit slow here. Smooth going to be zoning them off here. About a big final slash from Momo. Catches Vitter, but he somehow survives. He eventually falls. Smooth trying to fight back as much as he can, but he's going to be left completely alone here as Todak cleans him out all bit by bit. Zyme Senpai with the double kill.
good play by Momo. Good flicker final slash before they could posture for an angle on to that penalty zone from Smooth. They made sure that they bit quick and they bit fast. They dealt so much damage, right? The impact was huge.
I mean, this is the strongest that Todak can be when Momo gets to play. The previous game, he didn't get to play, so this time, a little bit better, even though he is unable to roam as freely as he wants to. He has to stay in the lane just because the Terizla is controlling him that hard, but so far, at least he gets the advantage around the turtle.
Oh no, Shizo actually got the creep as well. Sasa trying his best to scare off these wolves, but Todak, as of yet, they're feeling a little bit more confident compared to Game 1, and King Empire, they have to play this carefully now.
Yeah, man, the changes, the hotfix changes, especially to the Rogers, they're like, oh yes, he has too much spell vamp. You know what? Because you have too much life steal, we're gonna make your wolf form a little stronger. We're gonna give you more armor, so he's able to just tank damage from his boss call for free.
Oh,
he's fine. He's
being used. He's gonna be able to get out here on top of the Matilda's gliding wind. King Empire once again in a very awkward situation. They're trying to set up with the Purifies, but again, Todak, they are aware about this. Look at this, Rafflesia. So much confidence now compared to the mineral game.
Hey man, when you have three Purifies on your side, it's just, what are you gonna do?
Oh no, Peter is dead. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Todak finds another pick. And now bottom lane here, Sasa might be in a little bit of trouble. They are going to try and retrieve him as wave over here. Sasa trying to get out, but Shiso will get the kill. And King Empire now getting taunted by Todak Sutsujin in a very difficult spot. But again, Turtle going to be the priority here. Dato trying to make a play on his own, but it's not good enough. Momo strikes once more.
Ooh, something about Momo getting a solo kill is very satisfying to me.
Is it that satisfying? I feel like I've become numb to it, right? I expect him to kill somebody sometimes. Todak right now with a 2.3k lead in the bag. And right now, King Empire can't seem to be keeping up with the tempo. Like, Todak have really amped up on the gas.
But here's the thing, though. Sasa is on this Moskov. He can make a difference.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit difficult here, but now with the final slash coming in, Momo getting caught out with the penalty zone. They're calling in the rest of the team, but again, Gary secures the turtle. Peter getting left all by himself. Shizo was able to find a double now. Gary going to try and catch out Dato. He does catch it. The Abraser's Wrath will not connect, but King Empire, they lose to the turtle, and they are losing map control as well, as Todak going to be knocking on a tier 1 down bottom.
He learned his lesson. He flickered out of there, even though he landed the fear. He just didn't want the chance of getting one shot like the previous game. 0-7 currently, 4.2k lead for Todak.
So Gideon, let's have this conversation.
Oh yeah.
You remember when we had basically negative win rate on the Arla as well as the quad?
Yes.
Opening up the regular season?
Yes.
Moskov has been great everywhere else, right? Can we imagine for the first 2 days of playoffs, Moskov has a negative win rate?
It might be a
Like,
possibility.
it's just an MY thing. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's definitely an NY thing, man. Oh, dude, not even that. Even like, even Natan had some pretty terrible win rates in the first 3 weeks until it slowly started to get back up into place. For the most part, I think that especially for these gold laters, it really is the pilot and not the plane.
Yeah, I do agree. So right now, Todak having 4,000 gold lead, this is massive for them. I like that this time Shizo is much more confident actually moving up and trying to deal a lot of damage compared to when he was using the Moskov. Now, this is Sasa. Sasa is one of the more veteran players in the MPL in general, not just in his team, in general. So I do want to see, after getting 3 items, how does he react? Because for Todak, you don't have the Vengeance. So he has more opportunities to free hit.
Well, they're trying to get up his farm for now, as Vader and Dado also going to be setting up an ambush on his lane. Unfortunately, the concealed play gets scouted out by Todak, and they're not going to be able to react to this here. And as soon as this happens, King Empire, they have to back out. They lose a tier 1 up top. Todak, they're looking to try to make a play here. Zion Senpai does have the primal form coming in, so he is going to be a little bit more hurtful. But Momo now getting scouted out by Suzujin, but the teammates a little bit too far off to actually provide assistance right now.
Hey man, it just goes to show how strong Todak is when Momo gets to play the game. And not only does he get to play the game, he's winning out in his lane. He's a full level ahead of Smooth. He was a full level ahead of Smooth ever since the very first turtle. And now KGE have no tempo, no control over the map, and we're able to get tier 1 bot side and top side, even though it was like a bit of a weird rotation, right? If you're in King Empire's position, I don't think Sasa wanted to move that early, but the fact that Shizo did really put Smooth at odds against him.
Yeah.
One thing that I do have to say is Zion Senpai is doing an amazing job controlling the mid duo. And all this while, it feels like he's doing it alone, giving room for Felicia to actually move around in the river as well as stepping out the side lanes, because Zion Senpai is level 10, Deto is level 8. It's been quite a while that they've been a 2-level difference here. So Zion Senpai just using his passive, getting a level advantage over his counterpart, able to control 2. This is why I like the Valentina in this kind of draft, and I like it when Zion Senpai is using it.
Oh no, Suzujin, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. Momo does have the angle for the final slash, but again, doesn't want to overcommit. Tier 1 still stands for Felicia. Getting scouted out by Vader, but he's so low. Nice sidestep here, but does he have the taunt? Oh, Gary missing the taunt. So Vader will live to tell another day as they try to strike back onto his top side. Gets scouted out, but here he comes, Gary. 2-man taunt. Zion Senpai looking for the play. Eternal God stops the back line. Gary gonna be looking for the flank. Vader gonna be surviving for now. Suzujin will fall under turret. It's Smooth as well. Tried to make a counterplay, but Zion Senpai destroys them both with the double kill, not even using the ultimate here.
Good work from Gary. Good work from Todak. They cut off reinforcement paths towards their tier 2 and canceling out the circling eagle mid-animation. Just very nicely done from Gary.
Yeah, right now Todak is definitely in control. For King Empire, they're just buying time. And I gotta say, Dado has to step up here because he's been very defensive. He's helping out his teammates, but he's not really being the one to enable things happening, if you catch my drift. He's reacting what Todak is trying to do. He's not forcing Todak to react to what he wants to do.
I think the worst part is that he's not exactly the strongest diver on the team. He's designed to be an anchor, to sit in the back line and stay safe as much as he can and wait for that big impact moment. But Todak, I think he's worried about the flicker final slash from Momo. He's also worried about the circling eagle from Rafflesia. Good spirit destruction, but I don't think it's going to result into anything.
They can't. They just can't fight this year. 7k net worth difference, Lord now in the hands of Todak, and I'm pretty sure this lead is going to go even bigger now. Whereas King Empire, they need to find a way to get levels up on Dado and Vader, because right now they need to be able to match Todak's tankiness as well as damage output. And if they don't do that anytime soon here, it might be a very, very clean game coming from Todak.
Yeah, because I'm looking at all the levels, and it's only the mid that's really suffering here, because Zion Senpai is 2 levels ahead of Dedo. Everyone else just 1 level.
Well, middle lane here, Smooth. He's going to get caught out, but at the same time, with the assist of Sasa, he's going to be able to get out here. Gary also going to be locked in as well, but Todak doesn't want to hard dive it yet. They are waiting for the Lord up on the top side. Waiting and waiting. Middle turret still will be standing, but again, it's all about timing right now. It's just when do they strike, and in this case, King Empire looking for the moment. They can't just open up the play. Vader still has the flicker. Dado just got his one as well, but the Lord gets defended very, very quickly. But again, objective is going to be the key coming in from Todak. Here comes the spear. Sasa thinking about the jump, but can they go with 2-man stun? But no follow-up, a little bit too far off. As King Empire just wants to defend this, and Todak gets no value more than just an inhibitor down bottom.
I think that's more than enough, right? They've set up the checkmate angle. Next Lord, develop a 10k lead, starve out King Empire. One inhibitor already down, maybe even a second, and then close the game from there.
Yeah, they're going to try and go for more. Here comes the drop into the Guardian, but a taunt! Smooth! Not able to be caught out here. They're trying their best to go in for the final stash, but a little bit slow off. Gary now with the taunt has to get out. Missed timings here coming from the members of Todak, but King Empire won't live to tell another day as they lose their buffs, and they will be able to hold on for now.
Look at the damage dealt by Zaim Senpai. And this is just onto Neto as well as Vitter. I mean, every once in a while during the team fights, we can see him going out of his way to deal way more damage onto everyone else. But this is so...
This is outlandish. Like,
Yeah, this is outlandish, yeah.
Like, is he playing Novaria or something? What's going on? Zion, he's playing a mid-range mage, and he's getting so much value out of it. For the most part.
Oh no, Todak is back. They're spelling T right now, and guess what?
Are they?
I guess they're spelling T. They were.
They're trying.
Brother,
trying.
man.
What?
Roughly
Okay.
Senpai.
Oh my God.
Okay, there we go. They finally got it.
Talk about miscommunication. How hard is it to make a T?
You know what's really crazy? Zaim Senpai is level 14, 12 minutes in the game as a mid laner.
Like I said, this is... Everyone else is just one level different. Zaim Senpai is the one that the pass of Valentina is so good, people keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, they do. Every time you are progressively, every time you're making hits against your opponent, you're getting the EXP, and it stacks up when you're being overly aggressive against your opponents. You're rewarded for that, in a matter of fact. But now this is where it all boils down to it. King Empire, they cannot give this Lord away for Todak for free. They gotta take something away, whether it be a tower, whether it be a pick, they need something.
Yeah, this Lord is going to fall very, very quickly here. King Empire not able to respond to this. They've got the spear, looking for the snipes. Gets blocked off. But Todak, once again, secures the Lord. Going for the next objective here. It is going to be the Pro Bowl. They need everyone. Penalty zone already expended from King Empire. No value for this as Todak is going to be crashing in. 9-0 as of yet. King Empire not ready to fight this at all. They can't. I don't think they can at all. Oh, it's tough. Zaim Senpai in the base as well, and there's just no respawn here. Taunt from Gary. Gets out to safety. Inhibitor will fall. Todak continuing with the assault. Slowly but surely. King Empire not going to be able to do anything. They have to make a move at some point. Lord comes in. Peter finally makes the play. He's going to get collapsed here. They're focusing on Momo, but they eventually take him down. Final slash not committed. They lose Peter. They lose Susujin, but Sasa from the sides, he's making the play. He somehow survived this, and now Sasa will be able to push them back despite the crash from Todak. What a play from Sasa.
Wow.
That's the power of a Moskov. This is the 3-item power spike. In fact, looking at 14 minutes here, it might be a 4-item power spike. This is the strength of a Moskov. When he gets going, good luck trying to stop him. Right now, he has 4 items. He even has the Wind of Nature. I'm unsure whether he used it just now or not. But again, this is the strength. All you need is an opportunity. All you need is some space. Victor bought him space. Victor used his flicker to get the Earth Shatter to get something going on to Momo. And after that, Sasa was just like, you know what? Good enough. That's all I need.
He finds it, right? I'm more surprised that he wasn't able to clean up the rest of Todak. Everybody was able, well, a good majority of them, right? The fact that only 3 people walked away with just a sliver of health was all thanks to Reflecia each and every time. I'm surprised that we didn't see Sasa clean up the rest of Todak in that fight alone, but this opens up opportunity, right? Now, they've technically, quote-unquote, missed the checkmate angle. Todak has one more attempt at this at 45 seconds.
You know what's the difference maker here?
What's the difference maker?
The person that he killed was Momo as well as Gary.
Yeah.
Neither of them have enough kills for a shutdown goal. If he was able to take down Shizo with 4 kills or Zaim Senpai with 5 kills, he would have gotten a shutdown goal, and I kind of feel like he would have gotten his Malefic Roar as well. This is the foresight that Todak has, that the moment they see this Moskov going crazy, they're like, okay guys, we know where this is going, let's cut our losses. So this is their experience going up against Moskov, where they're like, we know we're ahead. We're 8,000 ahead, in fact. But we can still lose to a Moskov.
That's the thing, right? It's so crazy to see how Todak dropped the ball right there. But again, you have to give props to the King Empire here because they were able to find and stop Momo before he drops that final slash, which I think is the winning factor for Todak. But again, it came down to luck. It may be luck, it might be skill, it might be timing, but for now, it is still a very, very long journey for King Empire as a Lord Dance will begin between both Todak and King Empire. Oh boy, what do they do? Purple buffs first, Lord down half HP, lanes are good. Todak, they may need to rush this here. Sutsujin, you've got to catch the biggest retreat here, getting taunted up. Now here comes the final slash, he's dead before he can do anything. Unstoppable for Shizo. Now the collapse comes in. They are going to try and fight everyone here. Meanwhile, Bitter will pay with his life, but Sasa is able to find someone. Dito secures the Lord. Todak, they did not know what to do. And now Sasa getting free hits after free hits. And the spear to find one from behind. Now the collapse comes in. Todak, they're losing members left, right, front, and center. What are they thinking? Now Zaim has to run for his life. And King Empire has somehow, they made the most impossible comeback in the history of NPL. And just like that, they're able to collapse. And now they're banging on the tier 3s on the crystal. From Flacia, Zaim Senpai. Now penalty zone comes in, needs to purify out. They've got the tanks, they've got the minions. Gary is back. They lose Rafflesia, and now King Empire will have to back off as Todak needs to defend this. Shizo is back online as well. This is what a instant crazy game here. Here's an instant replay. What the hell?
Looking at this, like, look at the positioning coming in from Sasa. The moment he sees that Gary's on that Lord, he's like, it's now or never. I gotta go in. I gotta make sure I deal enough damage that this Fredrin goes down. And he indeed takes Fredrin down. And then after that, again, Sasa's just like, bro, just let me 1v9.
Oh boy, this is difficult here. But again now, with the Uno reverse card has been played and jokes on Todak as King Empire looking to try and close up this game. No immortalities up on Todak. What will King Empire do? As Sasa is the biggest threat of them all right now.
Oh, King Empire equalized the score. Now ahead by 1.2k, but everybody's reaching their full build at this point. All that early game down the drain. Checkmate angle missed by Todak. King Empire look to set up for themselves. 3 missing inhibitors compared to 2 in Todak's side. And I think that Todak, they're still in it to win it, but they've got to be so careful of Sasa. Let's see any situational items. I see a Winter Truncheon. I am seeing a Winds of Nature as well for Shizo. Do we see the engagement Ritter? No. He's taking his time with this.
Oh boy, this is tough. Sasa making quick work with this tier 2, 18 minutes of the game. And this has got to be the biggest comeback ever. Todak was 9k net worth advantage. Now, King Empire is leading by 3,000. So that is a 13,000 chase back from King Empire? That's nuts.
It's a big lead. It's a big lead. But when we look at the damage now, Zaim Senpai is still on the top.
Wow.
I mean, again, that just shows how Zaim Senpai is a core factor of how Todak wins the games. He is able to control the map so well. He's basically being a mid laner with the mentality of an EXP laner. But the fact is, when it comes to the late game, it's all about your gold laner. If you can shut down Sasa, then you have a good chance to win. The only problem is that Sasa has the Wind of Nature as well as the Purify. That Purify, someone has to sacrifice their life to take that Purify away. But by that time, I'm pretty sure Sasa has everything going well for him. So this is a very difficult situation where you want to catch Sasa on his Moskov. But it's easier said than done. And the question is, who? Rafflesia can go to the back line, can get Sasa, maybe even take away his Purify. But by that time, you take away your Matilda, and Matilda is the one that can heal you. Matilda is the one that can pull you out of a bad situation. So it's not a good option to let Rafflesia be the one to go to the back line. And Momo has tried, but so far, not good results.
I think the only person who can realistically do it is Zaim Senpai, right? But that's under certain conditions, and I think it kind of depends on whether Sasa decides to overheat. We've seen him overheat before in these playoff games. Here we go, the 50-50.
Here he comes as well. He might be take 2 once again from Todak. Draw Lord Storm stops on King Empire. They're trying to go for the toys for Sauce, but chain stun for Vader, trying to stop the Frederick here, but once again it's Nato that steals the Lord. But Sasa hasn't shown himself yet. They've lose one, but Todak, they're thinking of backing out. Sasa finally joins the fight. Momo forced the fall, but the reset comes in. Sasa being prioritized. First immortality, it doesn't matter. Finally, Todak will shut him down. No comeback. King Empire, you won't fall. The Empire strikes back. Todak now looking to fight a little bit more, but they're so low. Smooth is able to fight Rafflesia. The Lord still pushing in. Todak, what are you doing? They are so low. Final Slash comes in with the Trunken from Nato to buy time. He's got immortality. They're clearing the minions. They're dropping everything. They lose Nato, but guess what? He was able to take one with him. Smooth still holding on for King Empire. He's got the immortal, but Sidestep and Momo, they're so low. He needs to get out, but Smooth, he cannot do any more than that. But guess what? He bought enough time. Vader spawns back, and now Vader will try and chase the remaining members of Todak. Run, Momo, run! Vader with the conceal. Are you gonna able to get out? He's gonna try. He's got ultimate. He needs to go, but the spear, no,
he can't do
spear
this.
doesn't connect. Todak on full defense. King Empire trying to give us a game of our lives, man. What a game to start here in the playoffs for MPL.
And that's a full reset for both teams. I can't believe the game did not end off of that. Todak desperate to end, but King Empire making sure that they hold on with everything they've got here in game number 2.
Smooth was just like, you shall not pass. Everyone tried. He's like, no, I'm big boy Terizla. I'm the Rizzler.
Oh, man.
He took everyone down, man. He bought enough time that Victor respond. If Sasa hit that Spear of Destruction onto Zion Senpai, that's game.
Yeah,
that was totally game.
They honestly should change Terizla's passive from Body of the Smith to Body of Wall, because holy cow, is he just keeping them out.
Instead of Body Smith, Body Smooth.
Yeah, Body is Smooth. Make it, that double it down, make it even better. Come up with a KGE skin while you're at it.
My gosh, Dato and Smooth, a beautiful defense, but again, it was too close to be called comfort here, as both teams 50-50 could have lost that, and Dato stealing the Lord made things a little bit easier for King Empire to defend against that. Still, again, luck is a skill. Skill is sometimes made by luck as well.
All right, they got to play this map well, because I think King Empire, they got to remember, they've got a Moskov on their side. It's high risk, high reward, but that's what you've drafted. At this point, they need some kind of control, because every single time I see this Lord come into place, Todak, they've got naturally pushing waves. They've done all of their chores, and King Empire is always on the back foot because of that.
This is a crazy stat. Both 67% kill participation. In terms of gold per minute, Sasa has Shizo beat. Sasa in this game has been farming crazy. The KDA doesn't resemble it, but he's farming faster than Shizo. That's amazing.
Agreed. But now Sasa, he just bought the power potion, so time is on King Empire's spot right now. They have to force a fight for the next 2 minutes before the power potion kind of wears off. Lord in the hands, down towards 30% now. Todak, what are they going to do? Do they take this on towards Sasa once more? They need to get the catch. Momo looking for the flank. Can't seem to find it. Gary with the taunt right now. It's not the right target, but they have to back off. Minions are being shoved up top. And King Empire still doesn't really know where Todak is. They're showing face, but they don't really know what to do. What's the best situation right now? How do they fight this? The Lord gets resetted.
They need Vitor to zone out Gary or Momo, and Sasa just needs to not get caught by Momo. Maybe use a Spear of Despair against Gary. It's hard to say, because no matter what move you see come out of Sasa, it feels like there's a good counter response from Todak.
Honestly, the longer they wait this is good for Todak, because the waves is in their favor.
They played an ulti here. Gary still looking to commit to this. He's a little bit too far off. He's going to be able to get out here, but King Empire, they force out the Primal Wrath, and Todak doesn't want to overcommit here. They've dropped too many spells and not a lot of value from both sides. Now, minions shoved onto King Empire, and Todak will be the ones in control as they try to zone off the members of King Empire. Smooth checking the Lord health, but he's a little bit taking too much damage. A little bit too risky as they make the jump. Sun Soo-jin still thinking what to do.
Good
Is
luck,
Shu
Sun
Unity
Soo-jin. Good
gonna
luck.
be wasting a little bit more? Gets stomped out as well, but here comes Collapse. They're focusing on him. Can he get the kill? No, he still survives. Sasa still thinking, join the fight as well. He's still alive. They find one. They're looking for more. Lord still surviving this, but KGE members, their HP is so low. Sasa poking through the Lord. Not good enough. Gary takes the Lord, but no one dies from both sides.
Give me your thoughts on this, LaFell. Was it the right choice for Sasa to hit the Lord to maintain attack speed?
Definitely not. I feel like Sun Soo-jin was not in a good situation to secure the lore in the first place because I feel like Victor being taken down, Victor was the one with the Earth Shadow that can actually control Gary to make sure that he can't retry that. So the fact that Victor died, that was not a good time for King Empire to force that. He should have gone for bodies, not for the Lord.
Yeah, I agree as well. I definitely think the Eternal Guard could have been used a little bit better, but let's see. Todak now looking for the end game here.
Yep. This is going to be tough here. Smooth starting this off. Pedro Diesel comes in. He's going to be taunted his way through. First of all, that's going to be the first immortality coming in. Can he get out? He's getting taunted here, but the damage from Zion Senpai finds him eventually. They get two, but Sasa still standing on. He's got the life steal. Jizo manning up, but Sasa with the winds of nature. He's trying his best, but his best is not enough. There's just too much from Todak, and Todak takes Game 2 against King Empire, denying them the comeback as we tie it 1-1 here in the playoffs. What a way to start MPLMY. What a way here to see the playoffs. Two amazing teams pouring their hearts and soul in this Game 2.
GG, well played. That's only the second game here, equalizing the score in this best of 5. Todak have done it so far, but can they keep it up for the rest of this series? It looks like we're going to be here for a long day, boys and girls. A long day indeed.
You know what? I welcome it, man. Let's go all 5 games. Looking at how amazing this game has been, let's go all 5 games. We got to talk about 2 major members that made this game amazing. Zion Senpai as well as Sasa, man. Like, Zion Senpai made it to that it became the score of 0-9. Sasa got his items. It's like, okay, my turn. And what a turn he got, man.
He got a good number of turns. It felt like it shouldn't have happened, but it did anyways. And I think, Sasa, he made the super play to keep the team in the game entirely. However, there's just too many overwhelming odds against them, right? I mean, these late game lords, they're so strong. Even with a full Trinity build, clear those minions does still take a lot of time.
Yeah, that's the thing about timers, right? Like Lord empowered minions as well as the Lord himself grow stronger over time, and there's only so much you can do on a marksman with only 6 items, right? That's why people tentatively say like Weapon Master is good, even the Florin Duo is good if they get into that stage of the game. But unfortunately for King Empire, it didn't exactly happen for them here. But now, let's talk about the winners. Todak, the MVP for the match. Game number 2 is going to be none other than Zion Senpai on his Valentina. Very, very oppressive one from him. Well done.
Impressive is...
He did not die.
Yeah,
Not a single death.
It's an understatement. This guy not only is winning out in his lanes, he causes a 3,000 gold lead and is spilling his own lead into Momo's lane, allowing both of them to pop off.
Can we also talk about how, for the majority of the game, he did the most amount of damage?
Yeah.
And let's talk about game number 1. He did the most amount of damage as well on an Eve, where everyone was just like, this hero doesn't deal enough damage. And then Zion Senpai is like, excuse me, hold my water. We got to keep it halal for this.
We gotta keep it halal for this one. 5.3k damage per minute. Let's see if he stays above the 5,000 mark throughout the rest of this series, because that's 2 for 2 that I'm expecting. I say expect, but we'll see when the main stats come out whether he's going to be the biggest damage dealer. But so far, so good. I think that Todak finally, kind of pulled himself together on this one.
Honestly, here's the thing, man. I kind of feel like the moment they got a kill onto Sasa, it was on him as well, because we got to think about Zion Senpai, not just a gifted player, but he's also one of the main shot callers for Todak.
Yeah.
He is telling everyone what to do, and he's making the right decisions. Even though we've seen some misplays here and there, but when he's involved, it looks good.
That's the reason why both Zion Senpai and Sasa's name has been popping out in all of MPL throughout the history, right? They are the 2 top players that we kind of, I would say, haven't gotten their love yet or their limelight in particular here because they were once former teammates. So obviously they play at the highest level. And in this case, this matchup to see both Zyme Senpai going up with Sasa was just phenomenal to watch if you think about it.
I
If Sasa had more space,
A little bit more.
I say a little bit more, but I do think that Sasa, especially into the Shizo matchup, has been pretty interesting. The laning phase, pretty dead. You know, don't get to see many advantages be created. But a single death in that lane, all of a sudden you're seeing 1.5 to 2.6k lead fall into the favor of the surviving gold laner. And it happens like in 2 games. It's happened twice already.
Zyme Senpai still has the highest damage despite what Sasa has been doing.
Oh, wow.
145,000. Sorry, I'm mixing up my words here. That's just such an absurd number coming in from a Valentina. Usually you would expect that to be Novaria.
Here's the thing, man. Speaking frankly, Sasa has been... His performance has been up and down. You know, there are times in the regular season where he's the best performing member in his team, but it's really not enough. In this game, I kind of feel like he is getting back to that prime level of Sasa where he was dominating back when he was in Onyx, right? So, Sasa, I don't know. Something about this playoff, something happened between regular season and the playoffs where he's just like, you know what? I'm coming for vengeance, man. This playoff, I'm going to be a monster.
Like, that's the beauty about this, right? There's no second takes in this situation here. One team is going to be eliminated out of this game. And I feel like everybody has stepped up in this game. But I feel like the one that is going to be able to win King Empire is got to be coming in from Sutsujin. Because think about this, right? He's missed so many retributions. And he has been compensated by Dato. Think about this. A mid laner without retribution securing objectives for King Empire. And I don't know.
How bad Sutsujin.
I'm not going to lie. I've been giving shit to Dato for throughout the entire regular season. But today, he's been playing out his mind.
Very strong words indeed, but I do think that Sutsujin was kind of left to die alone. Like, he definitely was hanging out with Spalding on an island all by himself sometimes because, again, he's the only guy there. Everybody else is too afraid to walk up, and even Smooth, understanding his responsibilities, can't be given these free ults over to Zyme Senpai, right? That penalty zone has costed them a couple of games, but I think for the most part of it, Zyme, he is... Man, his trigger finger. He will never use a battle spell unless he absolutely needs to. Or he never picks up an ultimate, the IMU, until the very last second. Like, he is not only looking for Veter, but he's also taking into consideration, is there a better ult for the situation as it changes during the fight?
I really like how slippery Zyme Senpai is because we've seen multiple attempts to gank him. And it's just like, I have Purify, what are you going to do? I have 2 dashes, what are you going to do? Right? I really like that he respects the engage coming in from KG. Like, remember the very early gank at mid?
Yes.
When Sutsujin came in?
Insta Purify.
He's just like, there's 2 people. Can I die? I can. I'm going to respect this.
Yeah.
Other people might not respect that. They might be like, I can't outplay this. But Zyme Senpai is just like, I've played this game for such a long time. I know I will die.
He knows it. And I think that experience put to good use on this Todak's next generation lineup. So far, I mean, where do you think it's going to matter? Is it still leaning towards the EXP lane now that we've seen how Zyme Senpai is able to kind of expand beyond just the mid?
I really think it is on EXP because this time Momo is able to play and their early as well as mid is much more stable. Compared to before when Momo couldn't do much, there wasn't a lot that can be done. In this game, Zyme Senpai leading made it so that the EXP lane has a better shot because Dato as well as Victor is not allowed free roam to go everywhere in the map because Victor in game number 1, he was staying inside the jungle of Todak. This game, not really. Zyme Senpai is the gatekeeper. He's making sure that both of you stay in my vision. Both of you don't leave my sight.
Yeah, and seeing how this is happening as well, I feel like it comes down to a lot of mental picture on how they are going to be able to respond to this. Because think about this, right? Like, even though Todak won game number 2, personally, I felt like Todak should have had it in the bag right from the get-go. And they should have allowed Sasa to be able to do what he was doing. And to see how KG was able to push them back at this stage here, it is going to hurt them in the mental capacity here. And think about this. This is a best-of-5 series. We're not just talking about drafts. We're not just talking about outplays here. We're also talking about mental capacity. Did it get into the heads of Todak? Are they going to be able to bring this action or this momentum that they have into game number 3? Or is this just a fluke?
I definitely think the momentum is going to help Todak more than it is for KGE. We've never known KGE as a very momentum-based team to begin with. And I mean, coming back to your point, the fact that they play around Sasa, that is the identity of the team, right? They are playing around Sasa 90% of the time and don't usually lean into the EXP until absolutely necessary because Smooth is just that type of player. Now, let's look at the item build progression. A new graphic for you guys to see what the items, what component items were purchased at what times. Just have a rough idea of when the power spikes started to come in, because right from the get-go, if we compare Sasa and as well as Shizo, we can see that Sasa was able to get first items in before Shizo because Shizo decided to rush tier 2 boots first.
Yeah, honestly, when we're looking at the items here, we don't, just one thing, we don't see a lot of item swaps. Shizo does more swapping than Sasa, so it does really show that Sasa for the later stages of the game, he's not, like, even Terrence brought it up, he bought the power potion. Maybe if Sasa is able to swap around items during the fight, maybe he could have sustained much longer, but maybe this is the limit of him as a player. He's very good at the team fights. He can get onto those targets, but he's not able to keep up with the standard of the gold laners nowadays where we see rapid item changes.
I think it came down towards a gamble, right? Like, was he willing to risk it in all this Lord, or was he gonna risk it with just item swapping? And for him to get that power potion to try and rush a lot and not being able to get it,
look at the 24-minute mark.
Hurt them a little bit more.
Look at Shizo's 24-minute mark. Immortality into a Rose Gold Meteor into a Wind of Nature. And then in the 28-minute mark, when he was diving crazy onto Sasa to end the game, Immortality onto Rose Gold Meteor. Sasa is an amazing player, but if we're looking at the progression of the items here, we're starting to see a limit for Sasa. You know, like, I love him as a guy, I love him as a player, but we got to talk about the stats. We got to talk about the numbers. We got to talk about how you micromanage your items. This is a very difficult thing to do, and it looks like Sasa is having difficulties doing it.
I don't know about you, but look at the top side here. What happened between Sasa's itemization? Because he had a Winds of Nature, and then suddenly he got a Malefic Roar, and then there was an Immortality, a Windtalker, and a Winds of Nature in the same duration of time. What happened out there?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was...
shoes? I think he sold his shoes for it.
He did sell his shoes at the very, towards the end there, but he mainly did it because that was the base defense, right? That was like after... the base defense eventually started to come through around that time as well. I'm seeing the Winter Target purchase towards like 26, but even so, I get the point. I get the point that you're trying to get at, LaFell. I do think there is a little bit of a cap on Sasa as of right now in comparison to the younger gold laners that we've seen here today. And so far, it's made... Would it? I can't say confidently whether item swapping would have allowed Sasa to survive, but it might have given him a chance to outplay the situation.
I mean, like, we can say that perhaps he did not have the gold for it, right? Because
also possible,
that is, you know, one of the factors, because he did buy the power potion. The power potion is like, what, 3,000 gold? So if you're buying the potions, realistically, you should not have enough items to swap around your items very, very freely, because I don't think Shizo bought the potion. So
no.
Yeah. Oh, no, he didn't buy. It's 1,500 anyways, but
1,500.
At the same time, I feel like Sasa, even though he didn't, like, this was a very sick play from Sasa, right? This was the reason why Todak was able to kind of lose out on momentum. Sasa making a lot of crucial plays, but again, I don't think it came down to a situation where Sasa needed to item swap, because he was still technically alive in the final base defense. So for me, the turning point for those two fights was literally at that Lord pit, where it came down to 50-50. Sasa went all in with the power potion, tried to snipe the Lord. The Lord Storm came up, they missed their retreat, boom, GG, well played.
The thing is, the Lord hit Toda, it didn't hit KGE. No one from KGE was hit,
weird,
so they should have secured it.
They should have, right? So again, my question still comes back to Sutsujin, you gotta step it up, man. Like, come on.
I feel like Sutsujin was still okay. It's the Victor is the one that we see definitely, like, after
fell off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think I definitely think that Todak is playing a little bit more aware with how Vitor is going to be moving around the map, and more importantly, the fact that his target the guy with the CC, right? There's only technically Vitor who has the most amount. Baxia has 1 in comparison to 4 from the Eden, so you know, they got to weigh the cost and benefits. But with that being said, at the very least, it looks like we have a bit of an interview with Rose up on the stage. Or where is she right now? Let's throw it over to Rose.
Has been doing good, even though Sasa has shown that Moskov is a beast. So I feel like when it comes to the draft, I feel like both teams haven't made major mistakes when it comes to the draft. It's just that priority, right? Zyme Senpai has been winning the mid is a key factor for Todak winning.
And some point in the mid might be a way to kind of attack this upcoming Todak lineup. What about you, Terrence Beatty? What is it going to be? What are your thoughts on the adaptations?
I feel like when it comes to this game, I think King Empire definitely, should have made a little bit more adaptations on how they're going to be handling the early game, because their early game from Todak was just phenomenal, right? Like without chips, what else? And they didn't really do that well in that game, because technically King Empire would have lost that a long time ago if Sasa hadn't made that play. So again, they need to fix that early game for me.
Yeah, honestly, if we remember, if Sasa just hit that Spear of Destruction, it would have been a KG.
On the base, right?
Yeah, on the base, yeah.
If he hit,
time
set
oh,
point,
yeah.
he would have won.
A lot of small things could have happened to change that game, but I think that for the most part here, both sides comfortable with the sides that they are on. Matilda ban coming in from KGE, bit of an adaptation on their side, which opens up the draft a little bit more. Let's see whether Todak is going to also get rid of the classic,
still
Vendetta, not letting it through.
So
Okay.
Moscow was first pick. I wonder if KG wants to take that gambit again. Because to be fair, Sasa was good on it, right?
I think they can. They
yeah,
can, right? Are they going
Moscow
to
first pick again.
He is good on it, but I feel like they need to force Todak to play a heavy executional comp.
Look at Sasa. Sasa already getting to Moscow. It's like, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. Listen to me. Throw yourselves for me. Like, this is giving me Attack on Titan vibes.
All right, calm down, Aaron Yeager. All right.
Sacrifice your dream.
What?
This is like Sasa is Levi, and then what was the captain's name again?
Captain Levi.
No.
The bald guy?
No.
Scout Leader Squad. Scout Leader
The one
Ed.
with the blonde hair. You know where
That's
Levi's
crazy.
like, you know what? I don't care about your dream. You sacrifice yourself. Let me go in for the kill.
Is AOT considered an old anime anymore?
I would say
It's kind of old, bro.
Is it?
Kind of old.
Man, all right. I mean, I was about to say it was going to be a long time ago, but
You know, I'm
I
gonna
think
Google
so far with Todak with the exact same lineup, not changing their draft at all. KGE going to respond exactly how we expect them to, and let's see. Now it's up to Refalacio. What else does he have in the back pocket? I'm expecting the Arla to get locked in here for the side of Todak once again, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
I think when it comes to early game as well, Matilda was part of the factor from Rafflesia, right? Like King Empire, one of the reasons why they were struggling a lot was that, one, they couldn't get a kill on Zaim Seppo because of Purify, and also there's Matilda. Two, Rafflesia has been showing so much confidence in front of them to a point that King Empire just couldn't deal with the Matilda. So it makes a lot of sense why they were going to ban this year. But now, here is going to be a little bit of fun fact for Momo. Since his debut in Season 7, Momo has played 48 unique heroes in official... Well, okay. That's basically almost everything, right?
No, I mean, that's not everything, but definitely whatever was meta at the time, and some more.
Yeah. By the way, I already got it. When I said Smith, I was half correct.
You were
Irwin.
Irwin.
Irwin
Irwin
Smith, the name.
Smith.
But yeah, you know what, Momo, crazy. And the reason why he has so many unique heroes, he didn't just play EXP.
He played
Right,
gold.
he played gold as well. And when he was on the EXP, the Belleric EXP,
Yeah.
High loss.
EXP.
And then I think they swapped him for his roam position at one point.
perhaps,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yes.
part of the reason why he has so many hero picks, man. He's so flexible. He might as well be a ballerina.
He is quite the gymnast, based on what
I
I've
think
heard.
the only role he didn't play is the mage role, but I think once upon a time there were a couple of games he was forced to play the jungle role, which didn't really work out.
I mean, would you put it past Momo?
True.
If you're like, hey, you gotta play mage tomorrow, he would be like, all right, I'll figure it out.
I'm pretty sure they're like, yo, Momo, coach. He's like,
Okay.
bet.
Okay.
I can coach. Pick Arlet.
Momo, have you considered running for president? He's like, yes. I'll figure it out.
I will decrease the price of diamonds. Yeah. He knows his target audience. This is the kind of guy Momo is.
Hey, man, it looks like you've been hanging around the Facebook group for way too long. The conspiracy theories that have been coming out of that group have been quite wild. But now that we're here in the second half of the bans, we are seeing Thamos, we're seeing the Yuzong as expected from the side of Todak, where KGE get rid of the Minotaur as well as the Arlot, which forces Todak now with the Farmers on their hands, thinking, hey, wait a minute.
I think this is good. Like,
Is it?
I think it's really good because think about this, right? KG has been playing the Vexana by Dato twice now.
Okay.
And they haven't really been abusing the Faramis. Like, this time, they're not going to get the Valentina regardless here. So instead of picking a Valentina, why not just pick a Faramis and let KGE deal with it? which I think, aside from Sasa, is going to be very difficult to deal with.
Wait, so you're saying this is good for Todak or
This
KGE?
is good for Todak.
Okay, good for Todak.
Yeah, good for Todak.
Okay. Because I'm thinking worst comes to worst, KGE is gonna play like pretty much the exact same draft. To be fair, like
Yeah, this is
farm
comfort, right?
I feel like at this point, instead of a Terizla, they should go for a Lapu Lapu. Like, let's move, get a damage dealer, because Lapu Lapu is pretty good going up against Fire Mist as well. It looks like they're picking up the Edom as well as the Export. I mean, it makes sense, not many bursts.
I agree with you on the damage outcome. I was leaning more into Paquito. I think Xborg is like the safest option.
But doesn't this allow Todak to pick up the Keto?
Yes, it does. It does, in a matter of fact. But I mean, one way or another, I think it feels all right for Todak. It's going to end up being like a dive-heavy EXP laner. Ideally, the Paquito, because at least he can clear up the lane super quickly and participate in the fights earlier than the Xborg.
A lot of choices. The Lapu still can burst down this Xborg, so... I feel like showing the export early, like this export can be the reason why you win or you lose, right? Like if he wins, this Grok as well as this Fredrin's not going to do much. And like I said, the Lapu can still work well going up against this Xborg as well as the Vexana. So a lot of dive coming in from Todak. It's going to be very difficult for KGE to respond to.
Yep, it looks like the flavor of the month is going to be Lapu this time round. A more reliable way of getting into that backline, making sure that that anti-CC really doesn't really gonna do a lot of work. Let's see whether or not Momo is gonna get to that point where he's like 1v4ing in that backline at level 6 or level 7.
Momo's the kind of guy that would sacrifice himself, man. I'm just gonna die. If I die, sure. You guys make sure you clean up house.
Well, this is going to be an important moment here for both these teams. Both pretty much drew first blood, taking a game themselves here. Both Todak as well as King Empire looking to try and challenge themselves to the limit, to push themselves to continue their journey in the playoffs here as we are about to head into the land of the dawn. Now, best of 5 finally resetted into a best of 3. King Empire versus Todak, game number 3 to decide who will advance further.
Let's drop right into it. Back into the land of dawn we go for this third matchup. Let's see where their priorities are going to be, because once again, these gold laners have gotten to the finish line or close to the finish line, but it's really the EXP laners who've been getting them over that hurdle.
Something to note is that Susujin, in terms of leashing time, the mid leash just for a little bit and then immediately go to lane because they don't want Zaim Senpai to have priority. So this is, I like the adaptation here. Is like Susujin is like, I'm good. I'm a boxy. I can clear my jungle very fast. You guys get to your lane, have a better positioning. Make sure you guys don't get bullied out by Zaim Senpai. Just that one micro decision is already making them look a little bit better when it comes to the lane.
And they've already stolen the camp at the same time, right? I think that KGE are on the right warpath. They need to make sure that, for the most part, EXP, it's you don't really need to do much with it. You're an export, it's already pretty difficult to kill you, so now you just focus on clearing the mid and as well as the gold waves. Just make sure your presence is there. Make sure that Todak don't get to walk around that area as comfortably as they should.
Right now, Rafflesia looks like a little bit low. I like the attempt for Todak as well as King Empire. One thing that we do have to bring up is that the EXP laners are more damage-oriented for this game, which I feel like for the flavor of this best of 5, Todak going up against King Empire, having amazing EXP laners by both teams respectively, I think this is a good call. Get them on damage dealers, get them on heroes that can carry or at least disrupt the backline.
I would have expected maybe even like a CC from the side of King Empire, right? To a certain degree. But I think that, you know, being more damage orientated and knowing King Empire, they like to play the numbers. They want to make sure that they are safe, but at the same time get high impact rewards when you are successful in these engagements. Speaking of which, let's see how this lane goes.
Well, level 4 is going to be the priority from both sides. They are going to try and rush this here. Smooth Dato getting in first, Zaim Senpai Momo to follow. The collapse is about to happen as well. Turtle getting resetted here is trying to go for the fight beater. Going for the kite here. They're going to focus him down, but the firm is NetherRealm keeps him alive. Susujin finally gets the kill. Actually, it's going to be Turtle that takes first blood. Now Momo next to fall. And King Empire getting to Rafflesia, forced to get out. But that's going to be Turtle in the hands of King Empire unless Zaim Senpai is trying to make a play here. He's got the Ghostbusters. Nope. Not going to happen. Turtle in the hands of King Empire.
Yep, Ghostbuster's not going to be enough there to beat out a Retribution, and more importantly so, the fact that Rafflesia didn't hit 4 on time, and Bitter still had enough HP to make it happen.
Well, the pin on top, Shizo.
How did that Shatter not land?
I know, right?
It was just short. That's so sad.
I also have to say, during before the turtle take, mistakes coming in from Todak. Momo used his Brave Spider a little bit too early, and then got crowd control by Neto, making it so that he doesn't get to the pit fast enough. At that point, I kind of feel like avoid Dato for now and try to go for the jungler.
Well, Zyme Sandboy now getting harassed a little bit, but as of yet, he's going to be fine as King Empire finally winning the early game compared to the game number 2 here, as they are going to try to make it invade here. Rafflesia does scout this out. Do they want to try to force the issue? But seems like objective is going to be the way for King Empire as they set themselves up top.
You saw that, Gideon, right?
Yeah. All that effort just for one auto attack to steal away the camp.
The freest camp. And what? You know, no, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Sutsujin is good with the 10s. He's not good with the single digits. If it's 1 or 2 HP off, he's like, hey man, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. But speaking of which, I do think that maybe Todak had an angle there, right? On that very first turtle. Like, Momo could have flickered in with the stun, maybe get something out of Deto, trade, you know, Battle Spell for Battle Spell. Maybe that could have been the difference maker there. Let's have a look at the AI winning predictions. It's 66 to King Empire, 4 minutes into this game so far, with 16 seconds left on the clock before the next turtle spawns. I'd be more than happy to see a Flicker engage coming out of Vader.
Yeah, I mean, like, King Empire right now with 1.6k gold lead. It's a very sizable lead when it comes to the first 4 minutes of the game. Toda, they can turn this around by having a good fight around the turtle. With their kind of draft, I'm almost looking forward to more fights instead of focusing on the objective on the turtle.
I think that would make the most amount of sense here. Smooth is pretty far ahead in his lane so far. Could be a little bit better.
As of
Zion's
now,
out.
They're going to try and force a fight on Zion. Zion dropping down very low. Sutsujin getting blocked off from the rotations. Turtle completely resetted, but they do force out the Toys Persons on King Empire as Todak looking for the juggle. 1 level ahead for Sutsujin. He's got the retreat. Momo looking for the flank here. Smooth still jiggling their way through. Witter now with the Feramis out coming in. Gary steals the turtle. Smooth pops the run away. Momo zoning the back lines. Finds a pick on Dato. Smooth now needs to get out. Momo thinking about the save, but the wall does not connect. And they will find Wither on the bottom side from Zyme Senpoi instead.
Good wall charge coming in from Rafflesia to cancel out or stop Sutsujin from getting a retribution of his own. Still a little late. Those 2 seconds definitely mattered there. How about the rest of Todak? Now that they've kind of like opened up the map a little bit more and cracked open the tier 1 down on the bot side of the map, we'll see whether or not they're just going to extend the laning phase, right? Because I feel like Shizo, for the longest of times, pretty dead lane against Sasa. I mean, Sasa, yes, is technically a wave ahead of him, but at the same time, you would have expected Roger to be more proactive or at least start the snowball to get a couple of kills.
I know you're talking about the gold lane, but I gotta talk about what Momo has been doing. It looks like the idea is before the turtle fight, make sure that the Faraka armor is gone. That's number 1. Oh, before that, Dato gets spotted.
Oh my goodness, Dato now getting caught. Oh, they're calling in Sasa for help here. Momo getting escorted with the NetherRealm. He's going to be able to get out for now. KGE, they're thinking about forcing the fight. Shizo is here to show himself, but again, they don't have the burst damage here. They need Dato, and they will disengage.
Gideon, I gotta say, I'm gonna talk a little bit about numbers. 3 times, Momo went straight onto Dato. Something happened in the draft where they say, Momo, eyes on Dato. We don't care about anyone else. Don't let Dato play the game.
Yep. I think it's just the intervals here, right? Like, Momo understands if he leaves lane, he wants to bring down that Faraga armor as much as he can from Smooth. Second objective, dive onto people who don't have much counterplay. And in this case, it's going to be Dedo, right? He doesn't, unless he has his flicker off of cooldown, that's his only escape mechanic once the Bravest Fighter is out. The anti-CC makes his Fear and the Eternal Guard pretty useless.
And right now we can see Momo arriving in lane, and Toda, they're in prime position to actually start the turtle. Now Toda has a little bit of a lead. 600, not a lot, but still pretty good coming into the 7 minutes here. Rafflesia is finding Victor. Victor needs a good engage here to give a good chance for King Empire to win this one.
Oh, it's actually looking kind of good. Keep your eyes on Momo there. He's looking for Deto, and he's looking for that flank angle. So far, Smooth just melting down Rafflesia.
Oh, it's going to be tough here. Gary now going for the taunt. Looking for the juggle. They're still waiting for the right moment to strike here. Turtle gets reset. Momo can't seem to find Dato yet. He hasn't really shown himself, but conceal play from Lacecia. Finally sees it, forces the flicker, wall charge, completely whiffing the mark now as the turtle about to drop the retreat threshold here. He's gonna get pulled back. Suzuki looking for the retreat. Finally walks up, takes it out. Now Nether Realm has been expended. They're gonna try for the collapse. Gary can't seem to get the taunt, but they will focus down on Vitter from Todak as they take one despite losing the turtle.
Holy cow, Vitter exploded there. Didn't even get to see him use his ult effectively as well. That wild charge flicker from Ruffalacia really making the difference here, but at the same time, the bleeding has begun. Shizo finds a trade in towers on the top side while mid lane gets taken out by Sasa. All in all, considering the amount of battle spells that was used, not too bad from King Empire, but not enough to take the lead.
I'm a little bit worried about Todak here. This game is quite even. And I feel like going up against Moskov is not really even, right? Like, even means Moskov is winning. 0-0-0. Sasa has been avoiding every single fight. He's just looking for minions. He's just looking for turrets. And right now, looking at the AI winning prediction, Todak is there, but I don't know how long they're going to be there.
Oh, now here comes the engage. You're dropping everything for Rafflesia. Nether Realm barely a pixel away. Is going to be in a little bit of trouble here as I'm Seboy getting caught out. But he does have the 10 HP to sustain his way through, so he's going to be able to get out of there. King Empire finding the roamer as they try to translate a little bit more down bottom.
And this is exactly the shape of the fight that they want, right? King Empire want to play a traditional front to back, but Todak want to disrupt them and stretch them out as thin as possible to isolate people like Deto, or maybe even Sasa to force them to do a super play of their own. 27 seconds left until the next neutral objective is up on the screen, and for the most part, King Empire, with a slight lead on their side, it's pretty much dead even here.
I would say it's a big lead because this time Deto is winning in terms of farm against Zaim Senpai, which is a big difference compared to game number 2, Gideon.
Very much so. But we did see Momo just purchase his next item, right? I'm like, so far, consistently we've seen Deto lose out on his battle spell because of Momo, and Momo just uses his ult. He's not even committing with a flicker even.
Right now, Rafflesia, taking a lot of damage.
Ooh, that's a lot. Well, Rafflesia is going to be able to get out, but at the same time, Sasa is going to be able to take this tier 1 up top. Meanwhile, Todak, well, they're going to be focusing themselves on the Lord instead right now.
Well, right now, Shizo finds Sasa, but it looks like Sasa's the one that finds Shizo.
No way, Sasa, you gotta do this. He's gonna go for it as well. No, he's hitting a turret. Sasa in trouble. He's gonna get caught out. Mistakes were made, but Smooth will be there to save the day. But he needs to get out. He's got no immortality. He's got no flicker. He's getting chipped away. Rafflesia missing the stun here. Zaim Senpai Ghostbuster. Last tick. Auto attack will steal the deal. Mistakes were made. 2-for-1 exchange, and now Sutsujin in the Lord pit. They have to juggle this way through as this Lord is going to be the point of interest for both sides. But KGE 3v4, they're dropping everything on Gary, but Gary will fall. It is going to fall, but Momo finds Dato in the back lines. Retri, Dato, what? He's dead, but he still got the Lord. Dato, how with the Eternal Guard? And now Peter gets out, Sutsujin gets out. Todak, what happened? What?
Man, I thought it couldn't get worse for KGE, but they got the Lord at the very least. They did it. They did it, guys.
Gideon, I feel like I'll eventually be the villain here, man. Like, I'm questioning Sasa on his abilities, like hitting the turret instead of the player. I mean, there's 3 buttons in the basic attack realm, you know, you can choose. And then, how many times have Sutsujin failed to secure the Lord?
Oh, speaking of that, as you doubted, Casa Skurs, he comes in with the Sika Spear, runs in front of Shizo, takes him out, goal laner out of the equation, as KGE will continue the assault.
This is the KGE redemption arc, right?
Yeah.
They heard it, they're like, okay, LaFell ain't happy with us, we gotta save ourselves. Wait for the super play. It's going to happen. Keep your eyes on them. Sasa and Bitter, they're the ones who make the difference here, and even Deto.
Oh, speaking of Deto right now, X-Spark dropping the last insanity, but as soon as he play that clutch play coming from Zaim Senpai with the Nether Realm, keeps him alive. They have to go for the reset. But again, King Empire, they are going to respect this. They are going to focus on the purple buffs instead. They will back out in this fight. Oh
right
boy.
now, a lot of questions are coming to my mind. Like, the Valentino worked so well in game number 2. What made them change the direction? But looking at the game for now, 4,000 goldie for King Empire, and Moskov is almost full build. The only item that he doesn't have for now is the Malefic Roar. So he's online. The moment he sees someone, he's going for the kill.
Well, to be fair, I don't even think he needs the Malefic Roar anymore. For the most part, especially like his main targets that he wants to like continuously auto attack. Even Fredrin, not that strong at this point of time, considering that he's mainly doing like DHS damage, right?
Something to note as well. Looks like Momo is going full damage here on the Lapu Lapu. Usually we see Hunter Strike and then the defensive item, but no, he goes for Hunter Strike into a Malefic Roar. And perhaps into a Sea Halberd.
I think it's definitely going to be a Sea Halberd here. They need some kind of anti-heal. It just can't be one Dominance Ice to control it. And worse yet, it's on Reflecia. Most people aren't going to hit him. Maybe by accident by Moskov. But for the most part, you can avoid it. Todak now on the back foot. 5k lead for the side of King Empire off of that Lord. And as expected, no inhibitors taken down for the time being. At least from Todak's side, they have a bit of room to breathe, but they've got to simulate a situation for me where we see King Empire able to take out that backline. Because so far, it really just boils down to Sasa making the mistake.
I would say is they don't have to because of how Moskov works. Just by hitting the front line, just by chance, you're going to hit the back line. So I kind of feel like peel for Sasa, let him free hit Gary, free hit Momo, free hit Reflecia. Basically look at Todak like an onion and just peel them one by one by one by one. Because Shizo without Reflecia, without Gary, without Momo, he's not going to march forward. So I kind of feel like they don't even have to go to the back line. Just deal with the wall in front of you.
I see. I do think that Reflecia is like Wall Charge is by far one of the stronger ultimates on top of the Netherrealm, of course. But for the most part, it's how many people can he actually knock up with it, right? Even if he goes for a priority target like Sasa, that's just a Purify you get out at most. Maybe you target Detto or, I would argue, Sutsujin and Vitter, who have been his main targets for the majority of these Lord fights.
Oh, it is going to be tough, right? Like, I feel like majority of these fights has always been trying to find a isolated target. And so far, Momo is doing a fantastic job just making sure that Detto gets taken out first. But even then, he's tried a lot of times now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the idea is definitely for Momo to go to the back line. But now he has to change targets, right? He has to go for Sasa because Sasa is going to be the one that's going to be destroying the front line. And Gideon, you called it out. Sasa doesn't need a Malefic Roar, so he goes for the Rose Gold Meteor for a little bit more protection.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to get bursted down. For the most part, like, he barely interacts with Shizo. He only finds Shizo towards the end or the second last person, but wait, this is actually a really good position.
Okay.
Wait, is Todak not going to posture for this?
Wait, they're actually going to rush this. Wait, huh? Where? Huh? What? Todak?
I mean, like, Smooth did a good job, right? He made sure that Gary has no avenue to go in. And Todak, they had to deal with the side lanes, so they don't have the numbers. They couldn't fight back.
Unfortunate. A good setup from King Empire Esports. At least this time, they're doing their chores. Not like previous game where they were always late to do their chores and Todak always had control over this Lord. Now we're seeing the reverse. With this Luminous Lord, guaranteed an inhib in the mid.
Oh boy, now Lord's coming in. Todak, they have made a small blunder here. Tried to go for a flank, did not expect the Lord to be taken down that quickly. Now inhibitors will fall. They're going to be dropping everything on Gary. Concealed play from Reflecia gets caught on two-man wall charge, but where's the follow-up? Sutsujin will survive, but the counterplay from Dato catches Gary. He needs to get out Netherrealm preemptively, but it misses. Misses Gary. He's gonna fall, and now KGE picks them all one by one as Todak cannot defend. One blunder leading to another, and now KGE saves 2-1, baby. 2-1.
Ooh, a beautiful front to back. Exactly what KGE was looking for. No angles for them to get in. EXP lane difference here. Oh my goodness.
Well, now we definitely got a game. And Sasa is making a name for himself, even though, like, he's the veteran. Now is his time to shine. Be like, he made some mistakes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna call him out when he deserves it. But I will also call him out when he's making those plays, and he is making those plays.
Hey man, for Sasa, there are only dope plays and old man hands. One or the other. There's nothing in between for the old Kage. He's looking good, but that just means that there's still one more game to be played. KGE currently in match point 2-1 against Todak. We need to see something else different, and like you mentioned, like, the EXP really makes the difference here. Smooth is great at zoning people off. Momo is great at diving. but eventually one is going to be more effective than the other.
One thing we have to talk about later is the mid as well. This time, Zion Senpai didn't win mid, right?
Yeah, Zaim Senpai was just completely shut down on every single front. Like, he's been playing in a supportive position for a longer time. Yes, he's doing the right things, but there were a lot of instances where I think Zaim Senpai just couldn't get in time. Like, a couple of Nether Realms was on point, was a little bit off the mark by a pixel, couldn't save Rafflesia, couldn't save even the final fight as well, couldn't save his jungler in time as well. And you can't really blame him. Like, he has this mentality that he wants to go forward, but sometimes when he goes back, it's a little bit difficult here. So I feel like not having that additional movement speed on him kind of hurt him a little bit here.
I don't want Zion Senpai to be a good boy. I want him to be a bully, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, game number 2, he made it so that 2 players couldn't play.
That's
this time,
true.
Here's the thing. It could be the hero, or remember when Susuji was taking the first buff.
Yeah.
It was like, just one hit, that's enough. Go to your lane. Don't let Zion Senpai did what he did in game number 1. That could also be the difference.
That also could be the difference. But first, let us show you our MVP. Currently sitting backstage. Let's have a look at his face right now, because give it up for this man from KGE. It goes over to Deto, having a bit of a rough early game thanks to Lapu Lapu, Mr. Momo himself. But he still manages to clutch up when the time is right. Give it up for our MVP, Deto, with his 4-3 and 4 score. Doesn't break the 5,000 damage mark, but definitely plays a good, a follow-up role when you see Vitor finds these engages.
I don't know about you, but Dato 3 games in a row has been stealing Lords one after another, and for some reason, even after he's dead, his Lord stole the Lord. It's crazy.
I'm the jungler now.
Look at me, Sutsujin.
I don't need retribution, right?
I am Retribution. Lord, we already have one at home. I think, overall, Deto has been receiving a lot of criticism from netizens out there, and I think he does his job well, and it depends on what he gets. I think that sometimes, and especially since these past couple of games, he's been playing Vexana. There's only so many cool things you can do with Vexana, so I don't necessarily blame him.
Dude, that's the thing, alright? Like, when it comes to his play, like, I feel like Dato, every time he drops his spell and everything, if you think about it, for the past 3 games, there are so many Lord steals that is not because of the Retribution, but it's because there's this Eternal Guard that doesn't have Curse Helmet or anything, somehow steals the Lord, which I don't understand. How is this possible? It's not once, though. It's like, 1 game, fine, sure, luck. 2 games, sure, whatever, luck. But this is 3 games now, and at more than 4 times. I don't think luck anymore. I think like luck is just part of his skill right now. It might be skill.
Can we just take this time to shout out all the other casters watching as well? Shout out to Mirko, Reptar. Shout outs to everyone watching, because so far they say this has been very entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
FPLMY entertaining, isn't it?
Hey. Some people might say that we're not, but I can't say it. But we definitely are one of the more entertaining regions for this reason, right? We like our 50-50s. We like having to fight with each other and trying to outplay our opponents. That's the whole. We don't need these small leads to turn into miles and turn into yards, right? For the most part, we got to make sure that, at the very least, recognition is given where it is due. Deto specifically.
Yeah, I gotta say, shout out to Leo, the detonation. That's the one that got the Lord. I mean, like, you know what? You have that one. That was good. That was good. Like, Deto, that's the definition of an MVP. I'm not even there, and I still got the Lord. Either I'm too good, or Sutsujin needs to step up.
He is literally the bomb. He is the bomb, man. He's killing it. He's killing it so far, and I think that's something that we need to address for the upcoming draft between KGE and as well as Todak, right? When we're looking at the total damage del, actually pretty manageable. I thought it was by far none, but Deto, highest in terms of damage with 57,000. In second place is only Smooth. So it looks like the zoning out is really paying dividend for Todak.
Personally, I think Todak has got to shift their approach on how they draft this issue here, because now they are 1 game away from being eliminated here. My question is, are they going to bring in Chiku? That's 1.
Yeah.
2, are they going to focus on Dato's hero pool now? Because so far, based on track record, he's only won with both Vexana as well as Novaria. So they took it away with Novaria. Do they take away with Vexana as well?
Okay, I at least I can say I like KGE's approach compared to Toda. It's like, we know what worked.
Okay.
We're just gonna keep using it. While Toda's like, you know what worked in the previous game? Yeah, let's not do that again.
They'll expect it, boys.
Yeah,
We'll throw them off.
Yeah, they will not see this coming. I swear to God, they will not see this coming. And they definitely did it. It's like, well, we did not see that coming. Full damage bill on the Lapu Lapu. That was surprising. Now we're going to take the base.
Todak is the kind of rock, paper, scissors player that does rock, scissors, and paper in that exact order in a best of 3.
Do they bring Chiku in?
Did they bring Chiku in? I
No.
don't
Like,
think so.
Why play rock, paper, scissors
No,
when
no.
you can just take a gun?
Two things. If we're going to talk about Chiku, right?
Okay.
All
Two
right.
things. Number one, like you said, is Chiku going to play? And then the second thing, what is Chiku going to play?
Rome. Sort Rafflesia out. Like, they were doing good at the end of the season.
I mean, I do agree. Rafflesia needs to do something, man. I mean, like, if he's only good on the Matilda, I mean, okay. Todak said, with Chiku in the lineup, the communication is a little bit clearer.
I agree. I can
If
agree
they
with that.
couldn't even do a TPT, there's no communication there.
What's a TPT?
When you're doing the TP while spelling out the T.
Oh.
Right, they
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They couldn't even do a T.
Because Gary was explaining in his interview as well, like trying to translate because BM is their first language, and then trying to translate it to BI, and then telling it to Rafflesia was like a thing between them, right?
I can't wait to hear the mic check, just so we can hear them go, guys, TPT, 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 and nobody knows what's going on.
What's a TPT?
They're like, TP? Yes,
Or
I'll do it.
TP, okay. Even I got nervous communicated there.
That would be fun to hear in the mic check. I think overall, I think overall, I don't think it's just Revelation. I think they need to address the elephant in the room, and that is this Edith. This Edith has been enabling the team for the side of KGE to specifically pick off Gary, to specifically force out ultimates for everybody, and just kind of like throw as many resources at the wall and blow them up before the fight even begins, right? That's what KGE has been doing multiple times, and it makes the engagement way harder, right? You pop the farmers, guess what? Primal Wrath is chunking you down with this quote-unquote chain lightning.
Yeah, he's got the AoE on the floor as well. Kind of floor is lava situation. You've got Dato who's like link up on everybody with those passive. If one dies, explodes onto its the Netherrealm. But again, I think the biggest issue here was that Todak, compared to game number 2 here, Zion Saber isn't being able to be in the front like how he played in Valentina. So based on the drafts itself, they chose to play the safety net, which is getting for Aramis, didn't work out. So this time they might switch back and just get back to Valentina for him.
I don't like to be that guy, but I gotta be that guy, man.
What?
Rafflesia needs to step up. I mean, he's the sandbag. He took the most amount of damage, but at Rome is a very crucial role. You can start a fight that enables your team to win, but so far Rafflesia has been very passive. That is not enabling Toda. I see Gary in the front lines. I see Momo in the front lines. Like, I feel like they're missing a key piece, and that key piece is the Langar. Langar
Yeah.
is crashing into someone.
Yeah.
And I don't see Todak crashing into KGE.
I feel like they're playing at surface level, right? It's not about how we stop our opponent from using retribution. We need to see a translation of total damage taken to impact made in the game. And so far, we're not. It's very lopsided to total damage taken more than it is making that big impact for Revelation.
I think I get where you're getting at as well here, but I think I'm gonna twist the story a little bit here, because in terms of Rafflesia, I don't think he tried to be passive. He tried to make a lot of plays, but he missed the wall charge a couple of times. Especially he tried to make a attempt on Dato. He tried to
cried
make
when
an
I saw
attempt
that.
on Sasa, which was a little bit unfortunate, right? So again, like you said, wall charge didn't get anything, took too much damage, and then just backed off and died.
Well, let's look at the highlights and maybe we can see a little bit more here, right? Because our MVP, Deto, every single time he walks into these fights, like, Momo is on top of him, and you have to deal with that for quite a long time until we do see Todak actually malfunctioning here a little bit. Oh, the Sasa one. Speaking of malfunctioning, this one was painful.
Yeah, that was...
Should not have happened.
This is also painful in a
This
different
one,
kind of way.
like, okay, died. Lord,
He died.
Okay, he died. Lord is just standing there. What happened? Oh, wait, what? Huh? Both retreat? Wait, what? The Lord got the Lord.
It was just a little bit
Detonation.
off, man. Detonation right
Detonation.
there.
Shout out Leo.
Shout outs to Leo for that one. That's a good moniker. But the time being, I do think that at least for Todak's side, the Langar method of playing, as you mentioned, isn't there. But at the same time, it feels like some members are hesitant. at awkward intervals. Other times, we do see people who want to go in and the rest who just generally want to back out. We haven't seen them move in together other than the early games where they feel the most confident.
This is bad, but I like Todak the most when they shut their brain off. And that's the Malaysian thing. Don't think about it, just do it, and then hope for the best.
But
That's my analysis.
I think Gideon here has pretty much got a little bit of a jet lag right here. He can no longer connect them here with them. But I guess what? From you, if you guys want to connect a little bit better in terms of internet and in terms of your good gameplays here, you can secure lightning fast 5G connection for your mobile Legends Bang Bang games with Hotlink. So be sure to scan a QR code down below here and you'll be able to stand a chance to get 20% off MLBB in-game items when you subscribe to Hotlink.
Connect those words better with 5G rather than me stuck on 4G. Man, that was that was the part of a lifetime. That was a good one. That was a good one. I'll take it.
With 5G, you can get the Lord without even being there.
Detonation sponsoring Hotlink, dude. That's his business plan.
Exactly.
He's gonna be big one day.
It's like, get item A because I was able to do this. Right? I outplayed 2 junglers.
Yeah.
Can you even say I out-retreat Gary when I wasn't even there?
Oh, dude.
Dude, that's gotta be the biggest bragging rights, right?
Oh,
How
yeah.
often
Oh,
can you
yeah.
do it at level?
It's good. He is good at what he does, right? Then again, maybe we'll see another hotfix where they're like, oh, adjusted mini lore of Vexana's Eternal Guard damage so he doesn't steal away neutrals.
To be honest, I think Homeboys, once upon a time, they had this objective, right? Each person is going to be able to steal the Lord. But I think Dato took it on a different level in this situation, right? He did a near impossible. I stole the Lord between 2 jungles, not once, but every single game. And I also did it while I'm dead.
So next season, Dato to Homeboys?
I mean,
This is my resume.
Check this out.
So now going back into the game, right? I want Zyme Senpai to be the guy that can stop two people in mid, right? The Valentino worked out well. The Faramis was okay as well. Like the Faramis is good on paper, but maybe just not against KGE.
I mean, that's because KGE, their personality is just slow and steady, right? It's very resource-based, war of attrition. Only make a call when you're very 100% sure that it's going to work out. That's their general style. And I think with the Todak Langar style, where it's like, you gotta really take that moment, take the opportunity, take those extra milliseconds to hurt your opponent before they can catch on to what you're doing, right? That's what we haven't been seeing too much from Todak. So maybe it could just be a clash of styles being polar opposites. But I think for this drafting phase, please deny KGE blue side.
Are they going to stick with blue side once again? That's going to be an interesting one here. But again, I'm mesmerized by the overlays and AI here. You know, Benedetta MPL skin. You gotta get it. It's so sick here in the MPL stage playoffs. But again, seems like not happening here, Gideon.
Why?
Not happening. Blue side once again.
Why are they so adamant on sticking onto red side? Are they that afraid of Sutsujin on Fredrin?
Isn't red a good color? You're Chinese.
I'm Chinese. Red is supposed to be a lucky color. I'm not gonna lie. But right now it's looking all blue today.
Ah.
Hey, feng shui is different.
Yeah, the feng shui here is a bit different.
I
So,
think you started the day today as well, right? Like people were having Monday blues, but casters were like Thursday blues, man.
Hey man, Thursday is not a normal day to have an event. I'm gonna throw that out. It's either weekends or Mondays, all right? Nothing in between. Everything in between does not count.
in terms of the bans here, not much has changed.
No, it should be exactly. Well, it should be exactly the same for the most part. I don't think it should change otherwise, unless Todak have a wild strategy coming up.
I think they should just let the Benedetta through and just ban Vexana as well as maybe even banning the Baxia for saying, okay.
Well, they're not listening to you.
All right, sure, whatever, man, guys. Yo, what, 4 games in a row, same opening bans, whatever, man.
Look, the other day, I was talking to Smooth as well. He was playing a different competition. I was like, oh, what is this?
Which jungler has the best retreat timing?
They're just passing it along.
He doesn't want to say. Okay, who?
Wrong.
Gary.
It's
All right.
Wrong. It's Deto. It's Deto. Wrong.
Wrong. It's Neto, bro.
You just lost $1 million. Like, who wants to be a millionaire theme right now? That's the clip for you clippers out there. KGE start things off with the boss gob. Once again, bans exactly the same. Now, quick consideration.
Yes.
quick considerations. Should they consider going for a Tigreal instead?
Oh, they steal the Vexana!
They're like, okay, Dato, what else you got? What else does he got?
What else?
Maybe he wants the Valen? Right?
Okay, it took them long enough to finally figure out. Like game 4. Okay, Dato, you've been winning on these 2 heroes. What else can you play? I think it's about time to take away the Vexana. Vexana, MVP, man. MVP.
Shout out to Aski. He said if they use a Bharat Smith, it's Dato Nas. Well,
Oh my god.
I don't like that one as much.
yeah. You know
I
what?
don't like that one.
They told us.
4 out of 10 is a passing grade, right?
4 out of 10.
So that's a 2.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10, okay?
I don't know, because I was thinking of that exact same fun on my way here to MPL. That's why, to me, that's a oneer. That's a oneer.
that's
if I can
one.
think of it, on my way to work, nah, it can't be that creative. You see the Matilda get locked in.
I like the Matilda because you want to deny it away from Rafflesia, where Rafflesia has been shown is like he's good with the Matilda. And now the Arlet pick. I mean, it's a solid pick, and this is the thing about Smooth. He's good at this hero one time, never again.
Never again.
Never again. Good with Benedetta, never again. Good with Tamus, never again.
Oh well, this is going to be a very, very interesting one here. But again, Smooth, I think he does have a very, very big hero pool here when it comes to this kind of situations as well. But at the same time, Xborg, was he doing the right things as Xborg? But I think
Yes, he was
doing okay.
melting everybody.
So. Why stop his heroes? Like, just let him play whatever he wants.
I think for the most part, it's how it works in tandem with the rest of the composition, right? That's where. So they get rid of the Edith now.
Okay.
I like this from the side of KGE because this opens up options for at least Smooth to play some strong divers. Let's see though, Todak, they do get first pick on the second phase. Let's find out what it's going to be.
Personally, I feel like this Matilda might not be played by Vider at all.
What?
Like, it's just a sixth sense thing that maybe Dato is going to be playing the Matilda instead.
Hey, Todak is on the red side, by the way.
I know, but I feel like this might be the case.
Well, let's find out here because it's going to be a Claude lock-in, and it looks like, nah, I'm not playing Roger no more. This hero sucks.
I mean, like, okay, this is his hero, right? She most of the time Shizo wins with a Claude.
Yes.
I like the joke, by the way. Shizo does well with the Claude, so I think keeping that is good. The thing about Rafflesia, he is always better on like off meta-ish picks. Like, I'm even thinking just pick up something like a Rafaela. Try to match the speed of Matilda.
That beautiful that you brought it up because I was thinking Florin in this case.
Florin
in this case because now at least they throw Arla into the EXP.
Yeah.
He's able to affect the lanes and he can dive really, really hard with the Claude. But KGE respond with their own Faramis and as well as Xborg. Back to melting their opponents, back to playing as 5.
Okay, you know, King Empire now has a little bit more front lines. I was hoping Dato go for the Matilda, but guess what? He's going to be playing the Faramis here. So, okay, sure. But Todak's side, I think the biggest problem right now is going to be 2 things. 1, how do they catch up with the Matilda's Guiding Wind? 2, how do they chunk away the Netherrealm? And back then, Blazing Duet was a great tool, but considering how Claude has been nerfed so many times, I don't think it's a viable option to deal with both of that right now.
I think this is... Also, I think it's generally interesting, right? Because I think Todak here in the export pick for the side of KGE, it just makes it awkward, right?
Oh,
it makes it really awkward for Arla to go into the EXP lane. It makes it, Arla into the roam position because I'm guessing they were thinking about Rizla, but seems like KGE right on top of that. Deterrent forces him onto the Arla. Once again, I think this is going to be a EXP. How much impact, how much bang for you or your buck can you get out of your EXP later? That sounds so much worse than it's supposed to be.
It's okay, man. I'm going to save you here by saying, Toda, this is potentially their last game. I like that they're going for comfort, and they're taking away comfort from KG. Taking the Vexana, taking the Claude, and having this Florin here. Something a little bit different for Rafflesia because he's not good at opening the map, but he can back his team up.
All right, this time around, as we are heading into this game, back into the Land of Dawn once more, it's going to be Todak, currently 1 point, but it's game a point for KGE, potentially the last bout, or could this go to 2-2? Let's find out as we load right into the game.
Oh, it is going to be an intense one here. is the do or die for Todak. Will they be able to survive, or will King Empire show them who the real kings are as they go into game number 4? In this case, Dato is going to be backing up Suzujin a little bit here, but again, I feel like Todak is in a very, very difficult spot where they are going to be having their backs pushed against the wall as they try to deal with Vitor. Vitor now trying to force out a retribution, eventually gets it though.
I feel like if he was going to retreat anyways, he should have retreated much earlier because now Suzujin definitely has an advantage in terms of the clearing speed compared to Gary. So Suzujin can invade Gary at this point.
Check it out. Vitor is just like, 20% damage increase. How about now, sucker? He's just being annoying. As long as he forces out his retreat, he has done more than enough work.
Yeah, right now, Dedo is actually controlling Zaim Senpai, not letting Zaim Senpai onto the minions, and now Rafflesia has to come and back him up. So Dedo is doing quite well with the... oh, okay, I don't want to jinx it. I'm sorry.
Say it one more time.
No. I'm done.
We're holding it back for now. Vitor, he's going to be running around being the pocket medic for everybody, especially if they're taking a bad trade in their lanes, while still trying to find any advantages whatsoever to give to their opponents. For the most part, as you can see, Shizo is doing a phenomenal job, especially 1v1 against Sasa in this lane so far, but on the opposite side, I can't say the same for Momo.
Yeah, and seeing how this is happening here, considering that there's been a lot of intricacies when it comes to trading here as well here, I feel like right now, Todak, they are playing this floor in the sense where knowing that Claude has no... Oh, wait, hold that thought. What happened? First blood on middle. Wait a minute. That shouldn't happen.
I mean, I feel like Gary understands that the mid lane is losing, so he has to add a little bit more resource there. Usually we see them going to the EXP, but this time it's like, you know what, Zain Senpai, you be my guy, I'm going to gank your lane.
But it does come at a cost, though. It does mean that Sutsujin does hit his level 5 on a time. Wait, no Ferraga armor. 50-50.
This is not good. This is going to be a 50-50 from both sides here.
Oh!
Slash comes in with the Nether Realm. They still secure the turtle for King Empire, but they will lose Smooth in the process here. They're able to get Sutsujin and Dato out. That's a big win for King Empire, but Todak, they still get another kill.
Nicely done by Gary. I would have said nicely done by Momo, but Sutsujin got his retribution at the same time as Gary. It's just like Gary was just a little quicker on the trigger by milliseconds. And now Sasa, he's losing out.
Yeah.
He can't breathe against Shizo.
Dude, like I said, this is Shizo's hero, man. His face looks like Claude. Get him on this hero, and he can do wonders for you. You just gotta believe.
Yeah.
And the team believes in him. So be like a team and believe in his Claude.
I think this is why the reason why they got the Florine, right? Like, Claude has been nerfed so many times to the point that a lot of pro Claudes, quote-unquote, has struggled to actually carry the game to the later stage game. But with the deal, it is going to help him a little bit more in terms of scaling for this game. In this case, he is one level ahead of Sasa, and that's actually huge for Todak.
The truth is Claude the one receiving the nerfs, or is it just every other marksman in the meta just getting way better? I definitely think that, yeah, the nerfs do come into play, but for the most part, Claude is always going to be relevant in these types of games.
But right now, looking at the rotation here, Toda, they want Shizo to win a little bit more. They're going to invest a lot in this gold lane, but looks like the minion is not where they want it.
Oh my god, Sasa?
No.
He actually stole the crab?
Yeah, he stole it.
What?
It's like, thanks for the leash, guys. I'm gonna take that for myself.
Small victories. It's all about these small victories. And ideally, by the time this turtle spawns, we see Sutsujin still a full level ahead of Gary. But after losing out on that turtle, it might be a bit difficult to achieve. For the time being, at the very least, let's take a look at that mid lane, right? Because Deto, again, previously was trying to deny Zaim Senpai.
No.
Now it's the other way around every single time Rafflesia, or even if Gary shows up into his lane.
Well, as of yet, Shizo now blazing into it down middle lane here. He's going to shove the creep waves. Turtle going to be the POI right now. Sutsujin looking for the plays. Dato doesn't have Purify. Needs to be a little bit careful here when to go for the Nether Realm. Gary now starting things for the taunt here. Now the full drop comes in. They'll take one. Vitor is out. And now Nether Realm already being bled out as well. Sutsujin with the toys was on. He's going to go for the retreat. He doesn't get it. Needs to get out. Gary secures it, but the Appraisal's Round will destroy him as King Empire loses 2 more members.
Personally, for me, I kind of feel like it's not worth it for Sutsujin to stay there. Even if it does secure the turtle, there's a high chance that he's going to get taken down. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like at that point, you try to get one member of Todak because their engage was clean. Gary jumps in, energy eruption, gets them all together, and then Zion Senpai drops a ward on top of them. The Eternal Guard was big there.
Yeah, the Eternal Guard was pretty gigantic. At the same time, I do respect Sutsujin for actually attempting. He was the same level. I think that he had a clean 50-50 chance against Todak's side, especially since Momo a little late to the fight, unfortunately. A good stun from Zion Senpai is all they really need. And I think that's the major problem
Oh
here.
no, Sasa, he might be dead here. Okay, Gliding Wing comes in, circling Eagle cancel Shizo. That's huge, but he's going to be able to get out for now. So King Empire, a little bit of focus on towards the gold lane now. Both Sasa and Shizo going to be the most important players to be standing out here from both Todak and King Empire.
That was a good 1v2. Right now, King Empire, they're moving as a team, Momo!
Oh my goodness, Final Slash comes in, Eternal Guard, one-shot Sasa, NetherRealm not able to save him at all, and Zion Senpai does it again for Todak, the oppressor. Give him a hero that can shut down people, and he will do it every single time. And now Sutsujin needs to make a run for it as well, getting mowed apart. Appraisal's Rock comes in, drops a lot of HP coming in as well. But King Empire, they're going to be able to hold on, but they've lost Sasa and Todak now, looking to find more picks.
Yep, slow wave being set up on the bottom side of the map. Top side going to get hard shoved in. They're trying to create some space, or at the very least try and take away this tier 2, but KGE refuses to let their structure go down. Todak, they back off, they don't mind, but at the very least, they know that the bottom side jungle is healthy and ripe with wealth to steal away from KGE.
Let me just say as well, Fredrin, his energy eruption has been nerfed, but Gary made it look like a non-factor. So far, he's been controlling the front side, the front lines very, very well. Gary has been performing extremely well with the Fredrin, where we see in other regions constantly getting banned out, but Gary has been getting it for free every single game.
I think a lot of people are confident in the counter picks, right? The Akais, the Barats of this world, sorry, the Akais, the Barats, all do very, even, wait, something, I feel like I'm missing one tank jungler out of the, oh sorry, the Boxio, of course. Natural counters to this Fredrin, but I think at the end of the day, like the Fredrin generally just scales better than a majority of them, right? So it makes sense why it gets picked up for the side of Todak. I think that KGE, considering that they are the ones blue side banning Harith, it does come with a couple of costs and benefits.
Yeah, as of yet here, Sasa going to be taking a little bit too much damage here. Dato can't seem to start the fight. Gary getting a nice taunt onto Sutsujin, but again, I don't think King Empire can find more if they don't go all in. The heals from North Lisa is starting to get a little bit annoying here, considering King Empire is trying to peel them off, but Gary will be able to wants to start this off for now, but tier 2 gonna be the point of interest. Shizo does a lot of damage here. They are gonna scare him off. Shinzujin tries to re-engage, but the rest of the KGE not ready to commit to this as they back off.
Toda really wants this turret, huh? I have to say, I haven't seen Momo for a very long time.
Yeah, he's been soaking up that mid lane for a while. I mean, he could have like pushed on the opposite side of the map to be fair, but I guess he doesn't want to be ganked. But I mean, Todak, they need to spread King Empire apart.
Oh my goodness, Vader taking a little bit too much damage here. Dado pulls them back, this is huge, but why are they diving? They're trying to do as well. Toys Musa comes in, but he able to get out. NetherRealm connects on 4, but they're taking too much damage. And now Shizo waits for the right moment. He goes for the Blazing Duet. He cuts the backline. He finds Sasa. He finds Vader. Now he's looking for Sutsujin, but it's not being able to. Meanwhile, Momo 1v1 against Smooth. Smooth, very low, but he will live to tell as Todak with a huge collapse on King Empire.
It's looking good so far. Mid-tier 1s will start to fall. Let's see what Todak does in the meantime, right? You definitely get somebody to start onto the Lord as soon as possible. But their chores, that bot side is pushing in. They should be able to clear this fast enough.
I gotta say, so many low HPs coming in from King Empire. I like that Toda has the discipline to not chase after that, because the Lord was up. If they died in that moment, then it's gonna be disastrous for Toda. So in this game, like I said, I prefer them just charging headstrong, but I'd like to see this.
Oh no, Vader getting popped off here. He could not open up the map. Todak finds a very, very big pick, and now the opening comes in. Sutsujin getting CC'd in. Do they want to continue this? They're trying to go for the taunt. Abrasive Draft will scare them off, but tier 2 going to be the point of interest. But Shizo, just one skill, Dato, dropping almost half HP. What do they do now? Like, what can KGE do at this point?
I mean, they take their time. KGE just needs the wave clear. They can play for high ground for a little bit, especially if they have their inhibitors still alive. And I think that's the most important thing. They need somebody to run up top side, and it's going to be Smooth who's going to stall out this Lord.
So Jin getting dragged back in here. He somehow gets out. NetherRealm already popped off. The Eternal Guardian will be saved from side Zam standpoint, but eventually falls. The Lord on top also going to be cleared off by King Empire. Tier 3, gone. Spear connecting on Momo. But King Empire, 9k behind. Can't seem to find an opening against Todak right now.
It's too difficult. And I think that Todak, right now, Gary, he's extremely warmed up. He is ready. He is now making proactive decisions to punish King Empire rather than just waiting for things to fall into his lap.
Another wave comes in. Gary going for the taunt. He's under turret here. Nice pin from Sasa. Where's the follow-up? They're trying to make the play. Gary mowing down real low, but the final slash from Momo trying to set things out. The Blazing Duet not connecting. KGE, they somehow manage to survive, but they lose another turret again as Todak cracks open 2 lanes.
I think this is a checkmate angle from Todak's side. It's really hard to lose from this position. 2 open inhibitors for the side of King Empire Esports with a 10k deficit in Todak's favor. How do they recover from this?
Looking at the goal here, man, Shizo is 3,000 ahead of Sasa. Talking about comfort hero, this is huge comfort. And I got to talk about the items as well, because Gary having the Brute Force Breastplate as well as the Oracle kind of offsets the nerfs that he just got. And the fact that he has a Flooring with him, the Oracle is providing a lot for him. So he is able to solo tank everything coming in from King Empire because the healing is enormous. The cooldown is there so that he can control everyone. He can heal by himself, but having Rapicia, this is the angle that Gideon, you and me were talking about. Take something like a Rafaela, take something like a Florian, because that seems to be more his style. He's not an engager, so might as well just support your teammates from the back.
Yep, and I think, you know, Momo and Zyme Simpoi finding these like really crucial picks has been what's keeping King Empire Esports in check. Like Tsutsujin, he can't walk up anymore. Gary is hyper confident. If he has to use Retribution, oh, that's perfect. Means that we get a free Luminous Lord.
Yeah, now with the Lord coming in, the Spear connecting. Oh, gets blocked by Zyme Simpoi. Doesn't want to make an attempt. Todak secures the Lord, but again, now Todak with this huge lead. What can King Empire do now? Like, damage-wise, what do you think?
When you were saying, like, Vexana do it, I was thinking of Vexana with the body of a Badang. just taunting the boss, goes like, do it, just do it. Try me. I'll drop down my Lord. But looking at damage here, Shizo is the highest damage, man. Highest damage, and in terms of the farm, he is leaving Sasa in the dust.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been saving this draft for an all-or-nothing situation, because we got to remember, this is potentially the last game for Todak. So if they win this one, from a best of 5, went to a best of 3, and then goes down to a best of 1.
Yeah, now with the Lord crashing in as well, Sasa going for the full play. Gary trying to kite move as much as he can. Lord gets chunked down pretty quickly by Sasa, so that's huge. But the inhibitor top side is gone. Smooth losing the Firaga armor, but Zyme Simpoi! He finds 3! He destroys them all! They're all dead! Faramis respawns, but it doesn't matter. Too much damage. Todak taking it to game 5. We've got the full series here for the first day of MPL MY playoffs. Do or die for either KGE or Todak.
The equalizer that Todak was looking for, bringing us to a 5th match for our very best of 5 series here at the play-ins. This is just for an opportunity to qualify for the playoffs right now. These teams at elimination point.
I gotta say, this game is won by the draft, specifically for Todak. They did 2 things right. Get Shizo on his hero, get Rafflesia on his hero, and deny the Vexana on Dedo. So the draft for this game, props to the coach. He made the right decisions.
Yeah, it took them a while, but eventually they kind of put Dato in a very, very awkward spot. And guess what? I really like how they've been playing this year, but what really saddens me is that both Faramis games have lost their respective matches here.
Farmers' win rate is
0 in this series.
It's not looking good. It's really not looking good, and I think a lot of it there's just so many ways to actually manage the Netherrealm right now, and we haven't been seeing too often that a Farmers gets too far ahead in the lane, because his laning phase is now technically, I would say, a little bit weaker once you get the supports involved with Concussive Blast, especially smart Edith ban coming in from Todak's side, just to make sure that it's not a deterrent anymore.
It's KGE. KGE is the one that
Yeah, they banned it themselves.
Yeah,
it's weird, right?
Because they took the Matilda.
Yeah.
and
You're
then-
right.
Yeah,
You're right.
They
You're
banned
right. You're
Edith,
right.
yeah. So it's like
Absolutely.
KGE trying to take it away from Rafflesia, but Rafflesia has a different hero, the Florin.
Well, with that being said, let's have a look backstage to check out our MVP of this game. Give it up for Todak's one and only. Oh, who could it be? Is it Gary? Is it Momo? Give it up for Momo once again, finding some really good final slashes onto that back line, catching people at almost max range when he flickers final slashes.
Yeah, I think out of all the games here, whenever Momo plays an Arla, he is trying to make a lot of plays, right? Like game 1, arguably, sure, whatever, you know, he's just warming up the game. But after that, every time he makes a play, there is going to be somebody that gets caught out. So it's understandable that why he is going to be the MVP here. He's going to be the tempo breaker, and this time he's playing a tank Arla instead of a damage Arla.
Yeah, I kind of feel like with how he has been playing, it makes sense because he's just setting up for the team. Like, again, the final slashes are impressive. But the thing that we also have to keep in mind is that he only died one time. Despite being the one to set things up, he's not putting himself in so much danger that he's basically feeding, right? So in this game, Todak is always put in a situation that everything seems planned and everything seems free. Gary goes in, clumps people together, Eternal Guard goes down, someone tries to run away, Momo says no, sweeps them back in, and then kill them all one at a time together. So I feel like the coordination is supremely clean.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about the composition, right, that Todak actually have as well here. One thing we realize here is like almost every single game, Vexana has been a huge factor between these teams. And even this final fight, like, oh, we dropped the ultimate here. Great, you've got Netherrealm, you've got Gliding Wind, but what happens if those bleed out? And then if you can't get out, what you can do? Because you have this final slash that just sweeps him back into the Lord Pit, into the Eternal Guardian, who just does so much damage here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Zyme Senpai later on getting top damage in this game.
Guys, I don't know how to feel about this. Momo's the only one that died, but Momo's the one that has the MVP.
Yep.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Death.
Maybe that just shows KD is not important.
Hey,
you die,
man.
you get the MVP.
That's why martyrs are always remembered. Everybody remembers Joan of Arc. All of them happens to be martyrs, right? You die, you get honored. That's just the way it's going to be, especially when you have 10 assists under your belt. Looking at you, Revelation. Maybe you should have died and maybe you got, you got the MVP. But I think for the most part of it, it really just comes down to KGE playing very linearly, right? A lot of their plays can be telegraphed. A lot of their win conditions are very obvious. I think they need to start investing in a secondary win condition at this point of time rather than doubling down on just putting eggs all into one basket in one particular style.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about KGE, right? They have been playing something that is comfort to a certain degree. Right now, suddenly switching to a playstyle that doesn't work is actually hurting them here. And we talked about why they brought in the Matilda, right? It's supposed to be powered farm by Sutsujin or allow Sutsujin to get a little bit more oppressive. But again, every single game, Sutsujin is just doing his own thing. Like, he hasn't been the guy that needs to start the fights. It's always been smooth opening up the fights, which I feel like there was a huge disconnect between the players themselves for KGE, for this match in particular.
Sasa was not been put in a good situation here. Only 20,000 damage on a Moskov, and Shizu doing 58,000 damage. Like, to put into perspective, Sasa's damage is only a little bit higher than Rafflesia.
It's hard. It's hard. You know, that's why once
It's
you give
hard.
It's hard to out-damage a Flori?
Oh, so the reason why I say it's hard this game is that Todak, they shifted their focus and give the deal onto the Shizo rather early. So, to be honest, I feel like Claude shouldn't be winning the lane, but because of this early deal by this Florin, it allows him to head-to-head and out-trade Moskov most of the time in the sense of just poking and pushing, right? Like, you have a skill where Sasa needs to auto-attack. And then in team fights, he gets focused down first.
I can't even say that with chess, right? Because
Let's talk about the total damage taken then.
yeah, because when we look at the total damage taken, right, most of the time, a majority average that we're seeing so far, other than Sutsujin being the major outlier and Smooth, it's going to be around 50,000, right? Because there's not a lot of counterplay once you get hit by that first initial final slash. You're going to get followed up on by everybody from the side of Todak. The only person who doesn't have CC is Shizo, technically.
Although one other thing is that I just remembered in scrims, I heard coming in from a lot of players, especially coming in from the Philippines, funny enough, is that if you see a Moskov, deal with it with the Claude. The Claude can outplay the Moskov. So this is not just Shizo's good on the hero, but perhaps there's an interaction between a Claude as well as a Moskov that the Claude has an advantage of.
You outrange him with your Art of Thievery.
Yeah.
And
you
you
walk
also
up
have a
and you get
blazing
auto.
duet that does a lot of damage in the early stage of the game.
I mean, that too, but I
If
think
it's one person who's taking damage, though.
because the only way you see Sasa actually winning this lane is if he somehow is able to like land a pin onto Shizo, and even then, right? There's a good chance that he doesn't 100% win that.
Exactly.
Unless we see him go real crazy and be like, I'm gonna take Inspire, no matter what, I'm gonna try and win this lane.
I think we have to talk about the point that both Dato and Vitor can't really play the game because of the fact that both of them actually went for flickers instead of Purify, considering that how much stuns that Todak bring to the table, right? We've got the Terrify from Zion Senpai, we've got the Eternal Guard, we've got Gary's Taunt, we've got Momo, Final Slash. One of this, if he catches Dato, he is going to be late to actually drop the Netherrealm on time. And there were a couple instances where Dato was swept into a situation where by the time he gets to pop it off, somebody's dead or out of position or slightly a pixel off towards the Netherrealm circle.
Well, look at that. If you don't allow these two to play, you win.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a large part of it, right? Because again, it's just controlling the shape of the fights, and when Smooth is in control of shaping that fight, a majority of the time it comes out well. But once he's off of it, and more importantly, so when he gets like one shot like that, losing that Faraga armor, which is again one of your biggest strengths, is the X-Borg, then it can get a little more different. I think that KGE, they need to start taking risks in lane. They need to start considering like, hey, how do we get Sutsujin involved in influencing the lanes? Because so far it feels like either Sutsujin is hovering around the lane for too long, or is very farm oriented.
Yeah, honestly, looking at his draft here, I'm also still considering here that we haven't seen the CC and we haven't seen the Angela as well, right? I kind of feel like the Angela is a pretty strong contender in the lineup for either KGE or Toda. I wonder if game number 5 we will see it, because imagining going up against a Claude, if you have a CC with Vengeance as well as an Angela, the Claude won't be able to deal out free damage.
That's a good shout here. We'll keep that in mind for the upcoming game. I think that might be a line of play that KGE might actually do. Let's look at our Hall of Famers here. Rich Guy and Carry going over to Shizo. Sandbag going over to Sutsujin. And Best Wingman once again on Raffalacia. No surprises here. I think that for the most part, now that at least from KGE side, they see Shizo, he can play the Claude.
Yeah.
It's clear that he can do that. Does this open up different options?
I think when it comes to options right now here, I feel like Todak has a little bit more luxury in terms of adaptations here, because think about this, right? They had 3 to 4 games to 3 games to adapt to, oh, what was KGE playing all along? Guess what? Dato playing Vexana 3 games in a row has caused them so much problems. But now, from KGE's side, now with only this game lost, they only have one chance to prove how do we fix this for Dato, because I'm pretty sure Todak has figured out, like, hey, if Dato doesn't have both Novaria or Vexana, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. They tried for Aramis, didn't really work out. Whereas for Zyme Senpai, he's proven himself that he can play multiple mages with no problem, except for the Faramis.
I think they're looking for a deterrent. I think that's what KGE needs to do. If they can find a deterrent to force, at the very least, force the Vexana away, or at least deny the Farmist from the side of Todak, then maybe they have some kind of leeway in the draft. I think so far that's what's missing from KGE.
Right now we're going to look at the highlights here, and the thing that I want everyone to focus on is how easy it is for Todak when it comes to the team fight. It's like A, B, C. Okay, Gary goes in, and then dropping the Eternal God, wait for a little bit, Final Slash, and then Clean House. And it's been the same thing over and over again, where at this point it's probably just muscle memory. It's like, okay, Gary, have you done it? Okay, Gary goes in, and then someone goes in.
Yeah.
And like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Sometimes they change D, E, F, but it's all the same pattern. So Todak, I feel like this is one of those drafts that is very comfortable for them. That they can autopilot and it will still look good.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about in all these instances when Todak actually took the fight, right? Like even in prior to this middle fight as well, they find an opportunity, they get a stun on Dato. Dato was half a second late with the NetherRealm. Someone gets died. Gets a big final stash, pulls out maybe half of the heroes away from NetherRealm and isolate here. Dato was put in a situation where, what do I do? Who do I save? How do I save? Because eventually he doesn't have those mobilities to actually catch up to other people here. And in this case, I feel like Todak was able to figure out and punish that you guys got no Purify. That's all. Simple.
Well, with the wombo combos that they do have, I feel like they could easily just break Purifies like on cooldown every single time. And I think, you know, Todak have been doing that since game number 1 up until game number 4 that we just witnessed. At this point, I've been mentioning it very, very often. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm down for a surprise. Are they going to change sides?
Throughout the entire game, one thing that I do have to say. What Todak did that has success is to shut down Dato. I feel like for KGE, now this is a bit of a curveball. Shut down Rafflesia.
Shut down Rafflesia.
Yeah.
Interesting. But then we did see him play the floor, which I would say is like, for the most part, you're kind of, I wouldn't say giving up, but like slowing down on the early to mid.
Do you know how to deal with a Florin, right? So the Florin wants to stay in the back, in the back lines, right? Trying to avoid damage. If you use something like a Lilia that avoids everything in the front, go straight on to the Florin and then deal with the Florin first, you're done. It doesn't have to be the mid. It could be the jungler, it could be the EXP, but basically deal with the Florin first and then everything else will be easier.
All right. Keep that in mind, right? That's the next plan for the upcoming game. But do not miss the Snapdragon Pro Series Open Final week number 3 because you can again support Todak as well as Team Hawk and also hope for Monster Vicious and JP Niners to continue their journey. It's a Swiss format, so it's pretty brutal in comparison to the MOI playoffs, which they did not qualify for.
Yeah. MV hasn't lost a single game yet.
They haven't, in a matter of fact.
They have not lost a single game.
Yeah, you know, it was really surprising to see MV, you know, actually making it towards the next stage here for the Open Finals as well, which I think none of us actually expected here, considering that they beat Bigatron Beta 2-0.
Again, they've beaten some big names, so please go and check out the Snapdragon Pro Series. Check out what's going on there. Many different Tier 2s and Tier 1 teams are going to be involved from all over Southeast Asia. With that being said, we have a little bit of an interview here that I'm getting the words from Zipper. Now, let's throw it over to Rose. Who are you talking to?
Terima kasih kepada caster-caster kita. Hello semua, nama saya Rose. Dan sekarang, saya dengan Todak Legion, Champion MAL musim pertama. Alright, okay. Kita start dulu dengan Zaid. Hai Zaid, sihat?
Hai, sihat, Alhamdulillah.
Alright, Zaid. So, I rasa kita semua nak tanya, apa perasaan jadi the first ever champion untuk MAL Malaysia?
Rasa happy gila sebab dapat juara MAL Season 1. Dia ibarat korang champion MPL Season 1. Dia akan jadi siarah nanti.
Oh. Okay, untuk rival pula. Now, kita tahu that rival ni pernah main atas pentas MPL. Sekarang main dekat MAL dan dapat champion. Tapi sebenarnya kan, apa yang biggest difference ataupun apa yang beza main MPL dengan MAL? Pressure lain tak?
Pressure sebab kalau MPL fans lagi ramai dari ML.
You lagi suka main online ke offline?
Offline.
Kenapa?
Sebab main depan fans lagi semangat.
Ya ke? Nak dengar sikit fans Todak? Patutlah kan diorang rasa semangat. Alright, last question. Let's give it to Formaze. Dulu Formaze ni player tapi sekarang dah jadi coach. So, sebagai coach kan, apa yang you rasa Todak buat silap tadi di game pertama dengan game ketiga that cost them the game?
Agak gementar jugalah sebab tadi kalau kita buat mistake sikit pun dorang dah boleh menang game tu. So, just be careful je lah untuk next game.
Okay, dengar tu Todak. Be careful next game. So, Formaze, as your ex-teammates up on stage, apa yang you nak cakap dekat dorang sebelum game seterusnya bermula? Match point dah sekarang.
Okay, untuk teammate yang tengah main sekarang, all the best. Focus next game and don't be overconfident. Kita bantai dorang.
Wow, you rasa boleh tak dapatkan game ni dan main seterusnya jumpa SRG?
Boleh sangat lah.
Boleh sangat?
Boleh sangat.
Predict score?
Predict score 2-1. 3-2.
Tak, bukan predict score tu. In game. Tadi berapa Tak,
Dua sama,
tadi
tadi
tak,
dua sama.
bukan. Like in-game kills tadi berapa?
Oh, kills tadi.
1-14
Oh, diorang ada kill tadi.
1-12.
Oh.
Diorang dapat 12, seorang lagi dapat 1. You rasa kills untuk game ni?
Paling bagi satu lagi lah dekat orang. At least orang happy sikit walaupun kalah.
Okey lah. So, kita dah dengar dah daripada Todak Legion. Tapi, which team will be advancing further to the upper bracket to meet Selangor Red Giants tomorrow? This last game will decide it. And with that, mari kita masuk game kelima untuk Best of 5 series ni. Casters, silakan.
I'm having fun.
Thanks, Rose. We're having fun here at the desk while you're taking care of the interviews. We're refreshed, and now for this final game here between both of these teams. One will move on to the playoffs, and the other one will go home. Let's see whether the play-ins is as brutal as they say as we jump into the drafting phase in just a bit, and hopefully we get to see some surprises from KGE, because I think the onus is on them, to be fair.
Yeah.
Remember last season where every single game
Yes.
went every single game?
Yes.
And then
I do remember
only in the grand finals where it's like 4-0 or something.
Yes.
Will this be the same?
Nah.
Will this be 5 games, 5 games, 5 games, best of 7, 4 games?
Oh my god. Wait, that would be even
Oh wait,
funnier.
no, sorry. That was 2 seasons ago. The last season, the very last season, we actually went 7 games.
Yes, we did go all 7 games. As we go into the drafting phase, I would be worried if that were to happen, because that would mean that one of these teams would be in the upper bracket, get knocked down to the lower bracket, win in the lower bracket with the maximum amount of games, just to lose an entire clean sweep in the grand finals.
Can we negotiate a pay raise? Okay, probably not. You know what? It's okay. Let's jump into the draft where, again, KGE, blue side.
I hate
Okay,
I
every
hate it.
game has been like this, but this time we do have a little bit of adaptations here, because this time King Empire, they actually banned Arlott first phase instead. A little bit of difference here. So what snuck through? Well, okay.
Dude, they
KG.
keep going for this Moskov. Just
Come on.
stop banning the Harith. Let Todak do it.
Like this.
Vexana, Fredrin?
Yeah, first pick, man. Like, should have first pick Vexana if you want to play comfort against KGE.
I mean, that's if you want to play around Deto. Deto has apparently a huge hero pool, and so far we've only been able to see 2 heroes.
That really stood out.
not even 2 heroes that really stood out. 2 heroes he's played thus far in this game. Fredrin Vex, as expected. RIKG, it's up to you. Are you going to play the exact same thing, or are you going to change things up?
Hey, Barats again. You
Oh,
dog, yes.
All right. Smooth is like, all right. You know
Okay.
what? Enough funny business. Roar.
I think this is huge for KGE, right? Because if you think about the games that KGE won, Smooth was able to kind of suppress the opponents every single time. First game was with the Tamus here, and the game that we won was Export. And think about this, even in the last game, they lost with the Export. I feel like in KGE's defense, there was nothing really much he could have done to actually make space for the team, in particular for Dato or even Suzuki to do anything here. But with a Yu Zhong, you're guaranteed space every single time. And now, with no double dragons, because of the Vexana pick, Valentina is secured for KGE.
Yep, and so far, that's under the assumption that it doesn't get banned. We're already complete with the very first pick phase.
Isn't this good though? Now that KG already picked up their EXP laner, just ban all the mid laners, right?
Oh,
Balin,
no.
ban out Paramis, maybe even ban out
Yeah.
Lydia, you know. So it's like, oh, you got your EXP laner, great. Now, Deto, my man, my guy.
Play the Faramis again, bro.
My dude with the huge hero pool. You're gonna get targeted, no?
Let him get targeted. Worst comes to worst, he plays Nana.
Well,
Hey,
actually,
actually,
Nana is not
yeah.
bad.
Nana's not bad.
Considering how hard he's being dived every single time, Nana is just great.
I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen, right? If they get rid of the Farmis on their side, and KGE probably at this point, what else is there to get rid of? EXP laners, right? So get rid of the early game forcers.
What is super good against Yuzong? Because I feel like Yuzong every single lane is just a skill matchup, right? Nothing truly wins against a Yuzong.
Yeah.
Dirov wins a Yuzhong. It's pretty good.
No, honestly, there's a lot of clips. Level 1, Yuzong beats a Dirov. You just clear the lane
level
faster.
1.
You get level 2, and then with the Petrify, then you just win it out.
Uh-huh.
Trust me. Searching on YouTube, there's compilations,
Okay.
man.
There's many ways to play it. There's a lot of counterplay when you have Yuzong, right? In comparison to some other heroes where you just basically have to give up the lane regardless. Yuzong can actually fight for it, though the conditions may be a bit tight. We do see the Angela. It's not
Wait,
pure
but-
mage bans.
Matilda is open.
Yeah. Both sides ignoring it though.
No, I mean like Todak could take it, no?
I mean, Todak definitely can.
Rafflesia has been doing well on it,
Build it.
especially played on Matilda though.
I mean like Matilda and Claude. How are you gonna catch this Claude with the Matilda as well?
Okay.
Cho.
Cho?
Joe, yeah.
Single target lockdown. Maybe even like
Kaja?
you know what? Let's take it further. Yeah, suppressions. Add the Kaja. Start adding on the Franco as well. We haven't seen Franco in a long time. That's also fun. I do think that the Kaja probably would be the safest, but there's no real enabler here, right?
The only reason is that I kind of feel like Kaja is difficult here because the moment you catch someone, Eternal Guard will stop you, or the Energy Eruption will stop you.
Yep.
So I like the Kaja idea, but it's difficult to execute against what Toda already has.
To be fair, it's all hard to execute.
Yeah, even with the Purify on it, it's not gonna good, right? It kind of defeats the purpose of him having the flicker jump engagement, right? So I don't think Kaja is gonna be good for here. But I'm more curious on what Dato is gonna be playing here because as of now, oh no,
Wow,
he actually went for it. Wow.
See, this is what
That
I'm
is
talking about.
crazy.
Right? When you don't reveal the enabler, it's hard to make a hard guess on what the extra duo is. We knew that they wanted some kind of like way to kind of break this comp apart, right? It's something to forcefully get rid of these purifies to open up that opportunity. And I think Kaja kind of suited well. And what does her passive do? Shred down people's MR. You need something with high burst. Nana comes into mind. I would argue the Valentina, but it's already gotten banned.
But yeah, you called it. You called both the Nana as well as the Kaja.
I
helped with the Kaja, but still, you know, it's you, buddy.
Don't worry. You're gonna have.
I have an
there.
assist. You got to kill.
Yeah.
I like it, but I think it's really crazy coming from
Yeah.
KG.
Isn't that
when
crazy?
play.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Like it's just putting all your eggs on
One
Spoof,
basket.
able to actually cut the back lines, or trusting Peter to get the biggest catch of his life. This is so risky, but if he gets it, he pays off. If he doesn't, it's a disaster.
I mean, I see Vader, high-fiving Sasa, and they're still the fact that they made contact. I would assume they're still on good terms.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Picking up the Terizla to deny any good pickoffs coming in from the Kaja is honestly still risky, right? Because you're picking this Terizla because it's good against the Kaja. But it's one of those heroes where you can't always reliably go to the back line. You can't always go for Sasa on this Moskov. So if you don't catch him, he's bound to become a problem.
Yep. Let's see how much of a problem it's going to be. We've seen the lane matchups. We have a rough idea of how this game is actually going to progress. With both teams in a position, look at one to team fight, the other to pick them off slowly. At the end of the day, the most important part is scaling as we jump right into the land of Dawn. Elimination match, tournament lives on the line. It's Todak up against their opponents, KGE, in this best of 5.
Yeah, and now, without further ado, let's see how things are going to be happening here, especially where now KGE made a little bit more adaptations. Hopefully, it is going to be fine for them. Same can be said for Todak, but this time, Rafflesia is going to be the ones that annoy Sutsujin instead of Vader this game.
This is the loophole. Extra damage received in the jungle, not going to mean anything if no one hits me.
Exactly. That's the beautiful part of the game.
Wait a minute. Bottom lane, Spoof taking a little bit too much damage though. And
okay. As long as he doesn't get hit by the first skill from Momo right here.
Okay, he's
Now
fine.
he's fine.
He's fine.
Nothing to worry about, right? Just lost his Petrify early. Means that he's not going to have as much lane control as he wants to. It's the only way to really turn the tides in that lane at the very least when it comes down to the life lead. But at the very least, Sutsujin, he's a level ahead of Gary.
Something to note here is that Sasa pick up the tenacity here, really thinking that he's going to get ganked or in a team fight he's going to get targeted a lot, which makes sense.
Which makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I think that, man, the counter engage is going to be really, really rough, right? What are some pre-preparations that Todak has to do to make sure that this is successful, right? I think a lot of it just comes down to battle spells. How do we force it out of him?
Yeah, speaking of which here, Suzuki once again getting focused down this time. He's taking a little bit too much damage. So Toys Persona comes in, but Vader, can he get out? Yes, he will. That's going to be Flicker out. So that's going to be 2 minutes with no Flicker for this first turtle fight.
A little bit sad, but still, not like it isn't recoverable. I think that, especially for KGE, it's a bit of an advantage for them, assuming that they hit the level 4s on time. If they don't, if one person is missing the level 4, I think they call it off.
I would say that the timing is a little bit off because it was before 2 minutes and they tried to get something in the jungle. And that's where we see the 20% extra damage really comes in because King Empire, they were chunked down quite a lot. So a little bit of misplay there. I understand what they're trying to do. They're getting extra farm onto Sutsujin, but that was pretty risky.
You think they could have waited right outside the jungle? Waited until it's 2 minutes and then walked in?
Oh, that thought for now because they're trying to make a play right here. Eternal Guardians comes in.
my
First blood,
God.
first move. He's shredding it through all his armor here, and he's not even dead. Divine Judgment will
That's
catch
so
onto
crazy.
Momo in the midst of chaos. And guess what? The trust on Smooth has paid off for King Empire, and the dunk, the alley-oop, is gotta be Vader to get the kill.
That's why the Yuzong is bannable, man. That's why you don't give Smooth a Yuzong.
My God, Gary could not move. He couldn't cast a single ability. He was just stuck in place for a total of like 6 seconds worth of stuns. We're facing like next to the ball here, but still, he manages to survive. King Empire, they've got something cooking here, and I think that Todak need to give respect to it.
Yeah, so far, Smooth has been surviving his lane, which is in a way winning, going up against getting ganked like 1 or twice. And the thing is, he has big impact when it comes to the turtle. Todak, they have to take note of this because turtle, if you don't secure it, fine. But what will happen when it comes to the ward, right? So after this, they gotta micromanage what Smooth is doing, and that's gonna be a problem because you gotta look at Smooth. But then when you look at Smooth, you might miss Victor, you might miss Sasa.
Yeah, this case, top side though. They are going to try to babysit a gold lane this time. They're sending up 4 on top. But King Empire, once again, not making unnecessary moves here. They're waiting for the next turtle, I guess. They just don't commit to the fight right now.
Yeah, this lane is pretty much lost for Momo at this stage of the game, right? Full level behind Smooth. Down in gold as well. Losing out on the EXP because of these stupid river crabs. Nothing seems to be going right, but doesn't mean that Momo can't make that impact, right? We're seeing the Vixana as well as Gary rotate down. Again, they want to get a preemptive gank onto Smooth before this turtle or Lord comes up.
Yeah, but Smooth is just like, I'm not having it. You know who I am. I'm Lord Smooth. I'm built to take pressure.
This is disgusting. He's intentionally freezing the lane as well just because he knows something is up. Nicely done coming from Smooth. And again, now he will have the Black Dragon to join the fight here, but Todak, they have to make a play. So Sujin scouts this out. It confirms Smooth's suspicions. And it's going to be able to get out to this. Now the Lord Dance comes in, but Sutsujin, you got to make it work here. Retri on you. Circling comes in. Here comes they drop everything. But Smooth goes in. Catches 2. Sutsujin secures the Retri and Sasa gets the kill as they continue their assault. Smooth now finding one, but Sutsujin steals the kill away as King Empire completely engulfs Todak in the turtle pit.
All right, here's the wrap time, right? King Empire with this 3.4k lead, but more importantly, their huge EXP and jungle lead is gigantic, right? That's going to be, what, 2 levels for Sutsujin, 2 levels for Smooth as well. That side of the map is completely compromised. These neutral objectives are hard to take, and worst yet, when all is lost, Sutsujin just has the bigger retribution.
It looks like Smooth is fuming, man. Because like for the past 4 games, I keep getting dunked on. It's like, okay, you guys have to understand, Smooth is a quiet guy. He's a nice guy. He's the kind of guy that wouldn't hurt a butterfly, right? But then you just know, I feel like going back and then the coach is like, hey, Smooth, how are you feeling? And then he just looks him in the eyes like, just give me Yuzong. Let me be 3rd pick. Don't let me be 4th pick. Let me do my thing.
Well, in this case, you talk about him being quiet here. In this game, he's an absolute monster right now. And he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I can't imagine Smooth calling for a tech pause. It's like, excuse me, Marshall, a tech pause. Why? I snapped my phone in half. This game has not gone well for me, but I snapped it in half.
All while just maintaining a smile. You know, like, very innocent. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Cedric. Also, I did it with one hand as well, just like you, sir. For the most part, nothing's going to be happening here as King Empire slowly just rotating around, looking for an angle to get underneath the chin of Todak to eventually choke him out. Put him in a rear naked chokehold. Even a Kimura, if they can find it.
Well, it is finally a best of 1 series, the full reset, right? Do or die. You can see both teams a little bit hesitant on jumping the gun. Gary also playing a little bit more defensively. Sutsujin, half on the turtle. King Empire looking for the jump reader. He sees, he doesn't see Shizo, he doesn't go for it, but Black Dragon being used to zone him off to secure the turtle. And once again, King Empire, they take a major objective. Conceal, comes in, looking for the pull, but no! Shizo gets out to safety. Finally pops the Purify. He will be able to survive, and King Empire misses the jump. Todak able to get out.
She's
Just
no
like
dodge.
Dude.
The Divine Judgment, dude.
That was actually
That was cool.
So he dropped the BMI, he knew he was going to do it, he quit before he sees Vader actually go and preemptively flicker, he pops that Purify so he's untargetable by that CC, and quickly takes his BMI to sneak out of there to create just enough distance so that the animation can't even go through even if it wanted to.
That's the thing, right? From my perspective, Shizo didn't even pop it, and he still got out first.
I mean,
so
I
it's
wish
weird.
we had a hand cam for that.
Here's the thing, right? We've seen this a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
Moonton told us nothing can beat suppression. And then you have players like this that says, who decided that?
But speaking of deciding here, Vader, a little bit of a ballsy here. You know, he doesn't have Divine Judgment, but Todak is afraid that he might have it, so they don't really want to take the risk right now, and it's scary.
No need to. They have the 5k lead about to turn 6, and they get a free tier 1 if they wanted, but looks like they're going to back away. I thought they'd be more aggressive about this. There we go.
Okay.
That's what we wanted to see. Just run them down.
Okay, you know, they force a flicker out of nothing in the first kill, and a spear now, sending up top, not going to be connecting. So KG can take this as slow as they can once more.
Yeah, we'll only see them go for that 2x multiplier once that Lord is in place, but until then, they're just waiting to pick off Todak one by one. Todak not making any proactive plays themselves, knowing that it can be a little difficult, but they are forgetting to do some of their chores.
Right now, King Empire is 7,000 gold ahead, and this is one of the more disciplined games coming in from both teams because it's 9 minutes in and it's only 4-0.
Yep.
Toda is not finding areas where they can exploit King Empire because for now, Victor has not really had a successful Divine Judgment, but it could be said that he's really trying to use it defensively instead of offensively. So if anyone oversteps they're welcome that he's gonna pull someone in.
Oh, Black Dragon being used to zone out the members of Todak. They were securely Snipe Lord available, but now he makes an attempt. He's gonna pay with his life. Smooth, can he get out? No, he doesn't even die! He catches the setup! He turns in favor for King Empire! 2 down, Zion Boy Gary taken out. King Empire. Smooth!
Wow.
Wow!
Great comms.
He's never gonna get that Yuzong again, man. Never gonna get that Yuzong again.
Now there's another one to add to the list. Used to be Paquito and Benedetta, now it's Yuzong and Benedetta. He's never gonna be able to touch him again. Jeez, this team, King Empire, as of right now, are looking phenomenal, right? It feels like they can do no wrong in this game.
It's just crazy to think he just got it one time, and then they're like, why did we let this through?
Oh boy, not looking good for Todak fans with the Lord coming in. Smooth, not having the... still has the Black Dragon actually, but he's nowhere near to contest this. As Todak will be able to defend this for now. Tier 1 still stands surprisingly on top though for Todak.
Well, they're going to take their time. They're going to take all the outer tier turrets and then probably use the Black Dragon form to maybe fight for one inhibitor. Really depends on how big the wave is. Considering that the wave is pretty small right now, don't think it's going to happen. And they've already used their first set of Lord Empowered minions. Second one, don't think it's going to make too much of a difference unless Todak walks out.
One good thing about this Lord take here coming in from King Empire, the thing is they didn't get inhibitors, but they got everything from the top lane, and I feel like that's a big swing in gold. Now King Empire is on the verge of getting 10,000. Dora is having a rough time here. Shizo wants to deal damage, but he still has not completed his 3D items, only having the Demon Hunter Sword as well as the Golden Staff. The Corrosion Scythe is not there yet, so the damage is not going to be there just yet.
I mean, speaking of damage, apparently not even the gold is there, right? Like Sasa maybe 2.6, but Smooth at 2.9!
Whoa! What?
3,000!
3,000!
3,000! What the heck?
It's over 3,000!
I hope he gets MVP and we get to see his GPM.
Well, speaking of which here, Suzujin going to be starting the fight right now. They pop the Eternal Guardian and Zyme Senpai losing his edge here. He's getting a little bit desperate coming from Todak, as there seems to be no windows of opportunity for Todak to actually punish any of this. They've not gotten a single kill, and King Empire, think about this, 6 kills, and Smooth was in all 6 of them.
I'm saying, like, even in the games that they lost, Smooth has looked phenomenal. He deserved the MVP. But either ways, right now, King Empire, they're closing all possible routes for Todak to go in. Surprisingly enough, Zyme Senpai is doing quite a lot of damage, 20,000 damage dealt. But this is just him being him, man. He always deals the most amount of damage, but there's no opportunities to go in. This is the biggest, I would say this is the biggest weakness of the new generation of Todak compared to before, where previously, it's not you don't have to worry about one person want to go in. Everyone wants to go in. But now Todak, no one really wants to go in.
Yeah, last time the previous Todak guard usually uses their death timers as a means to an end, right?
Yeah.
Having overly long engaged fights, extremely messy, but they're always together. But unfortunately, not this time. Looks like Todak has taken a more reserved route, especially for the next generation, like you mentioned. But at the same time, they're up against King Empire. Previously having members from Team SMG and even Zyme Senpai being part of that squad just goes to show how much influence these players have.
Yeah, they just understand each other on the micro level and also their habits, right? And now seeing that Smooth is 13 minutes in, 14 levels, and as an XP laner, I don't know what Todak can do.
We got to talk about the stakes here. If Todak loses this,
It's over.
they're not going to MSC.
It's the
Right.
first time they miss it.
They miss MSC. They miss the previous M series, like being the first team. Number 3 in the regular season. First team to get knocked out.
Damn.
That's not good for the Todak brand.
Well, speaking of which, can they defend as King Empire does a lot of chip damage on Sasa down middle, but again, Todak playing this very safe. The bigger picture here is going to be the Lord crashing in as he slowly walks in here. Tier 3 will explode. Black Dragon already expended, cutting the back lines and looking for the push. Bitter tries to go for a flicker play, thinking about it, but still has the flicker. Divine Judgment. They're slowly mowing down all the inhibitors. Crystal down towards half HP. Todak, they will be able to hold on, but the King Empire, they're not risking it. Why?
I feel like it's a good reason why. Dude, there's so much at stake here, man. You don't want to make a mistake where Todak could possibly just end mid.
Yeah, that's true, but also because the big ultimates are gone, right? No Divine Judgment, no Black Dragon form, no reason to actually expand it, no way to enable them. Smooth, like before he left, used that Furious Dive to get the heck out of there. So at the very least, we know that King Empire, they weren't given the opportunity to actually jump in and find that engage, and that's basically just due to Todak being passive, right? However, the checkmate angle is still in play, 12k ahead, but Todak, they're catching up quick.
Well, they've got the ultimate here. Round 2, take 2. Black Dragon comes in. No minions again. Not sure what exactly is going on through KBGE's mind here. Makes a second attempt. Black Dragon form down for now. Vader still going for the Divine Judgment. Pulls one. They connect on Momo, but he's able to get out. So no value for King Empire. Todak still holding on for their dear lives as the Crystal, 70% health, but it buys enough time as they try to push back KGE.
I'm pretty sure that was a mistake in terms of communication as well, because it looked like Victor really wanted the target. I'm pretty sure Terizla was not his target, and King Empire, I feel like if the communication was there saying, I'm gonna go in, burst them down, even if they chose the wrong target, it would have bursted them down. So I feel like the lack of commitment in that fight there shows that it wasn't communicated well, that Victor wanted to make a play.
Yeah. If not, you would have expected to see Smooth like jump in with the Petrify as well. If they're already willing to commit the Divine Judgment as well as a Flicker nonetheless, then I think everybody should be looking to commit. Now, without the Divine Judgment, but more importantly, without that Flicker, Todak can anticipate when Victor actually tries to close that distance. That's why we're seeing such a long Lord Dance here. And it's not like King Empire needs to do anything. They've got 3 naturally pushing waves.
Yeah, and seeing how KGE is doing this right now, all they gotta do is just wait things out, right? They don't necessarily need to rush here. And Sasa, he's gonna risk himself to try and clear off top here. He's not even in this fight. Todak looking to make the jump here. Lord down towards half HP. They might be sniped here. KGE, they need to secure this. Sujin, can he win the retry battle? Dato again! He steals the Lord with the Nana this time. Smooth now collapsing on the back lines. Now he's gonna try and run them off here, but Sasa with the spear from behind, looking for the flag. Todak, they've lost from Flacia, but they still keep their lives. They need to reset quick. The Lord already marching down the middle lane. KGE looking to take away the title, take away their dreams as Todak now, Momo tries everything to stop them. He will lose his life. The Lord knocking on the crystal. Momo will fall. Sasa focusing the crystal. KGE has done it. The King Empire, the true kings of MPLMY, telling Todak goodbye.
GG well played, the King Empire. They qualified through the play-ins. Welcome to the playoffs here at day number 1. But we also have to say goodbye to Todak. They put up one hell of a fight in this best of 5. GG well played to them as well, as they have been eliminated.
Congratulations to KGE, but I gotta say, it's gonna get tougher after this, man. Selangor Red Giants, they're waiting. Speaking of waiting, Rose is waiting for them on stage, so let's go over to Rose. What does she have to say to the players?
Perlawanan ini adalah perlawanan terakhir untuk pasukan Todak di MPL Malaysia musim ke-13. So, guys, first of all, I would like to ask the audience dekat Stadium MBSJ to give Todak a round of applause. Dan kita akan bagi Todak peluang untuk bagi dorang punya final bow in 3, 2, 1. Once again, everybody, give it up for Todak. Dan kita harap kita akan jumpa dorang lebih kuat musim depan. And of course, pasukan yang akan jumpa Selangor Red Giants di upper bracket esok. Guys, give it up for King Empire Esports. All right, I'm getting goosebumps. The crowd is hyped and the stage is overwhelmed with emotions. First of all, everybody okay?
Okay.
Sangat okay. Let's start with Smooth dulu. Smooth. Tadi game yang sangat-sangat sengit, but you guys came out on top. Apa yang Smooth rasa you guys dah fix sebab you guys start kalah dengan Todak. Todak kalahkan korang 2-0. Sekarang adakah you rasa KGE dah dapat balas dendam and you guys are super ready untuk membalaskan dendam dekat SRG esok?
Kita orang just slow-slow fokus one game at a time. Kita orang punya comeback tu bolehlah dapat sikit sebab kita orang dah fix satu persatu masalah kita orang.
I see. Okay, thank you. Can we please pass it to Deto?
Hello?
Hi, Deto.
Hello.
Oh, he looks alive. Okay, Deto. First of all, very amazing play with that Nana. Now, a lot of people always cakap kan, Deto ni hanya bisa Nova je. So, sebenarnya tadi kita nampak Nana. Kenapa Deto pilih Nana untuk perlawanan ni?
Sebab mau.
Sebab mau je?
Mau.
Lepas tu
aja.
coach bagi?
Nah,
So, maksud tu coach percayalah Deto.
percaya.
So tomorrow you'll be going up against the Mage Prodigy once again in the mid lane. How do you think this will play out after you guys meet them in the regular season? Do you know how they play already?
Kita bakal coba yang terbaik lah buat kalahin mereka lah.
I see. Okay, SRG akan cuba yang terbaik and since dorang menang game ni, dorang akan pergi ke upper bracket dan if let's say lah dorang kalah esok, dorang ada lagi satu nyawa di lower bracket. So KGE can take a breather sikit, tak macam game tadi. Alright, so I nak tanya, Stadium MBSJ, korang rasa siapa yang layak jadi MVP untuk perlawanan ini? Alright, MVP kita dah ready. So, mari kita tengok MVP in 3, 2, 1. MVP jatuh kepada jeng 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 jeng. Ha. Legenda. Hi Sasa.
Hello.
Okay, Sasa, how are you? First of all, how are you feeling? Just now was a
Now really excited and then very happy because we win against Todak.
Okay, now just now was a very intense game for you guys because we know lah kan that if you guys are now only 1 life, now you guys got 2 life again. Okay, so I want to ask, what did KGE do during the 2 weeks break? How come suddenly KGE come back? Suddenly keluar gol pula?
Because we find it our problem because we have low stake and then we try to find our problem and then we fix it and now become good already.
So now you feel like the problem has been fixed. The problem has been fixed.
Almost.
Almost. Okay, can we please pass it to Sujin? Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Diorang semua nampak penat tapi kita faham best of 5 kan. Okay, Sujin, tadi main game best of 5, kita tahu penat dia, tapi you rasa KGE ada momentum tak kalau KGE masuk grand finals best of 7? Yakin boleh perform tak team?
Yakin?
Yakin?
Yakin.
Okay, can we please pass it to Viter for the last question? Viter. Victor, sorry. Sorry, it's too English. Okay, Victor. This is your first time entering playoffs. Your first match was last week 6, kan? Minggu ke-6.
Bahasa Melayu aja kan, nggak paham bahasa Inggris.
Oh, okay, gak apa-apa. So, kali pertama Victor main di minggu ke-6. Sekarang masuk playoff, keluar dari zon merah, esok jumpa SRG. Victor, how are you feeling? Dan apa perasaan awak? Dan ready ke tak jumpa SRG esok?
Kalau perasaan saya sebenarnya di playoff ini, saya main nothing tulus aja Kak. Buat lawan SRG besok, all in aja, do the best. Coba do the best.
Alright. Okay, Victor, apa yang Victor nak cakap dekat fans, battalions yang datang dan sokong korang hari ini?
Buat fans King Empire, terima kasih udah datang hari ini. Terima kasih juga udah dukung kami. Semoga besok bisa kasih yang terbaik lagi.
Alright, thank you very much to King Empire Esports. You guys may now go celebrate your victory. Wow. Perlawanan pertama di MPL Malaysia musim ke-13 Playoffs. Hari pertama Best of 5 yang sangat-sangat sengit. An amazing 3 berbalas 2. But that's not it for today sebab kita ada satu lagi perlawanan selepas ni. Before that, kita akan throw it back to the casters for them to dissect apa yang jadi di game kelima dalam Best of 5 series ni. Casters, silakan.
Thanks again, Rose. Give it up for the MVP of the match. It's going to be Sasa on form today with his Roger and as well as Moskov. 10-2 and 11 his final KDA score. Looking mighty fine, boys. What can I say? He's looking great.
I mean, 2 deaths in 3 games. That's wowzers.
It's crazy, man. Like, on top of it all, I know Lafel was like, oh no, he's bad. He made a little bit of mistakes here. But guess what? Old but gold, baby. Sometimes experience and game sense and instincts is what gets you power through here. And so far in that particular game, he's been playing out of his mind here. His timings has been spot on. And think about this, right? Sasa has never played a single Moskov before any other season. And this season, he was able to adapt. Like
Is
what?
it enough against SRG?
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
I mean, like,
That's a tough one.
before you build him up that much.
I know, right?
Right? Let me just bring you back to reality.
I know, right?
Because,
Gotta humble down a little bit.
yeah, this game, let me just say, this is impressive coming in from KGE. I did not expect that clean of a game going up against Todak. 9-0. Shizo didn't get any part of this game at all. He didn't die. He didn't get a kill. He didn't get assists.
He was, man. I think he was doing okay in lane against Sasa. I think he was doing very well in lane, as a matter of fact. But things just snowballed out of control so fast. This has been overall a very low kill count game.
I think when it comes to game 1 to 3, it all comes down to King Empire and Todak trying to figure out each other's playstyle, right? But game 4, game 5, it felt like just straight up, my draft beats you. I'm just gonna win you by draft. And game 4, like, think about this. KG couldn't do anything because everything they do is getting countered by Todak. And now this game, just one Yuzhong, game over.
Oh yeah, that Yuzhong coming in from Smooth, that was disgusting, man. Like, one of the best Yuzhong influences that I've seen in all of MPL's games, right? I mean, like, we've seen strong Yuzhong plays, but his Yuzhong basically dictate the entire game. Everyone else just like, hey, you guys can just clear the minion and then just push. I can handle the rest. Like, even you, Gideon, like, I'm not blaming you for this because even I was weirded out. Like, he Black Dragon formed. And then we're like, okay, they already got the lore, they might as well just back off. But Smooth is just like, no, I'm already on top of 2 people, might as well commit.
Yeah.
And then we thought he was gonna die.
I thought he was gonna die. I was like, wait, oh, okay.
And then they got kills.
And we're like, wait a minute. He sustained through that thing?
See, this is why it begs the question, does Smooth come up with these ideas himself, or is Sasa just like secretly behind him, puppeting him, or like ratatouilleing him, pulling his hair a little bit, just like get him in the right position?
I feel like it's Smooth. I feel like at this point it's just Smooth. Like he himself has a darker side to his character. One that he doesn't show the public. If you give him the mic, you wouldn't expect it. But behind the scenes, he pulls Sasa to the side. He's like, who do you think you are?
You know who I am?
Do you see my Yuzong? Do they ban your heroes or they ban my heroes?
We ban your hero, Sasa. You think you're good at inherit? Blue side ban. I think that you know, Smooth overall phenomenal player as he is good at communicating with the rest of his team at the very least, right? The fact that the Spear of Destruction landed right on time when he decides to go on the Furious Dive with the Petrify to set it all up for him to get Sasa in that fight, a lot of things just went well for KGE. And the only way I'm using this as a litmus test.
Sure.
If Sutsujin is 2 levels ahead of his of the enemy jungler, that's how you know that KGE is playing well as a team.
Yeah.
That's how you know that Dato will skill the Lord. Secure the Lord, yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know how Dato gets it every single time. With like instead of a Vexana, with a Nana, he still somehow stole the Lord, like, or the turtle. It was like, how? Like, why? How? Shouldn't he be like
Okay.
retry, easy retry?
Remember the situation where Smooth pulled Sasa aside? Now Sasa and Smooth is pulling Sutsujin aside. It's like, yo, we imported you. You're here to do this one thing.
Retry for Dato to secure it.
You have one job. I mean, to be fair, it's a hard job to do. To be fair, it's a very hard.
It's a difficult job
It's
to
a very
do.
difficult
Until Deto goes up to Sutsujin, it's just like, you listen here, buddy.
It's not
He
that
pulls
hard.
him aside. It's one big chain of people bullying each other.
This is KGE style. They pull someone to the side. It's like, yo, who do you think you are?
Hey, think about it, right? This is a king's empire. All 5 of them are kings here. They all have their own egos. They have to sit at a round table and have like discussions before passing through a motion, man.
It's like okay, get in having these conversations. Like, you know, it's like, hey Sasa, how you doing? And then when no one's here, it's like, yo Sasa,
Yeah.
how you doing?
He picks him up, pushes him against the locker. It's just like, give me your lunch money.
Yeah, everyone's voice just becomes deep. It's like, yo, where's the divine judgment?
As soon as Sasa leaves, Smooth gets pushed up against the locker by Sutsujin. He's just like, where's my black dragon form? Now let's go into our little highlights here. Official gaming phone brought to you by the Republic of Gamers. Throughout this match, right, I would have expected a lot more fights to actually occur towards Todak. To be fair, I do think that they were expecting a lot of fights, but I was expecting Todak to cut the resources off from Smooth, right? Start attacking the enemy jungle from their side, pull Smooth to help their jungler Sutsujin, and then look to collapse on him during that mid rotation. Like, I was expecting moves like that from Todak, but we didn't get to see any.
You know, seeing that play just now, like when Smooth went in for the die, he should have technically died. It was Sasa who went in, saved the day, and got a stun off the 2 men, and then allowed Smooth to actually survive that fight, which is insane.
I mean, like, he attacked the turret when he should have been attacking the person, but at least we can say one thing. His Spear of Destruction has been on point. Like, if we're going to talk about anything, is that his use of the Moskov, the ult, has been on point. It's very destructive.
Yep, definitely has hit more people with the Spirit of Destruction when played on Sasa rather than than his opponent Jizo. But with that being said, that concludes our very first best of 5. We now have KGE up against SRG for tomorrow, and that's going to be another best of 5. Every game here is a best of 5. Our next game, though, RSG versus Team Hawk. Winner takes on the Homeboys tomorrow.
One thing to note, the SRG KGE game, like starting it up a bracket here, they have an extra life. So even if KGE lost, they have another chance. So because of this win, KGE will be playing the minimum until Saturday.
That's pretty much it. The reason why they have these play-ins, right? They have to fight for their chance to have a second life later on. So I think that's a sigh of relief for KGE to adapt here. So even if SRG wins them, they can still find ways to improve if they go down lower bracket. But again, What am I talking about? Like, who wants to lose at this game? Like, you want to win every single one to be called the champion, right? In this case, King Empire, they're one step closer, but still, it wasn't an easy battle for them, to be honest.
No, it really hasn't. That's why, MPL playoffs specifically is a dangerous time to be putting your guest coins on the line, because you never really know who's going to be coming out alive. And better yet, guessing the score of the matches, especially in the best of 5, has never been easy. More so now. But coming up next, we have RSG up against Team Hawk. Boys, what do you think? What are your thoughts about it?
Actually, before that, I wanted to bring back to the interview.
Oh.
Now that I remembered it. Remember Rose asking for me? It's like, so what do you think is the kill score going to be? And then for me, it's like, oh, we're going to give him at least 1 kill. Just to, make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And then ended up, they did not have a single kill.
Yeah, that was 9 kills too much.
That backfired.
That did not age well.
That did not
as
age
he wanted. Formaze, man, maybe he needs to become a caster one day. He's already got the curse. With that being said, keep in mind, RSG versus Team Hawk for our upcoming match. We are going to go on a short break in just a little bit. So final words for this, to wrap this all up between KGE and as well as Todak.
To be honest here, 3rd place can beat 6th place. I don't know, anything can happen.
No. 6th place.
6th place beat 3rd place.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, my bad. And now,
Numbers is difficult.
4 versus 5. Who's going to be the better one? Is it going to be 4 or is it going to be 5? I don't know.
It's placement, not the amount of people. If 5 people going up against 4, that's it. But yeah.
Well,
Let's go to a break.
it looks like we're going to go into a break. With that being said, we'll catch you guys back right after these messages for more Mobile Legends action. We'll see you then.
Nice.
Go slow ini. Ya, ya.
Fedrin di gua.
Gua tak sampai. Aman itu, bisa mati dia itu. Hati-hati dia tuh.
Nice banget. Mati gua.
Bonus.
Ada barudak.
Nice. Sini. Lep.
Flicker sapu.
Itu tuh.
Mati. Moskow mati. Orang.
Nice. Lawan. Udah barudak.
Lo.
Turretnya free guys, turretnya bisa di-hit itu.
Base.
Bisa di-hit. Nice.
Gua mati.
Apa. Nice guys.
I don't have second skill ya. Go. I have now. They're coming in. Hi. Go. I want mana. Itu flicker. Nice.
Agak mundur.
Gas. Fokus mundur guys.
Roger.
Nice. Take my dash. 2 seconds. Nice. Fight. Hero. Tidak. Mid. Parami. Ayo bolting.
Yeah, we have Flori ya guys.
Teaming guys.
Wow.
Rider.
Mati udah, talip.
Let's